to the top of the first.
On Sports 1440.
There's no bounce again. Halliburton looking. Halliburton driving. Pulls off. Jump shot. It's good. It's good. With 3/10 of a second remaining. Timeout OKC.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Here's Santana batting right-handed. He swings and sends it. Deep right center field. This ball is gone. Carlos Santana. His first home run of the year right-handed. A grand slam to right center.
Wednesday afternoon. How are you? And welcome to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440. Sports1440.ca, Orders Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. It is a lovely Wednesday, and it's the Gregor Show, as always, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where you get in the game, and it's the old classic, the OG, Lotto 649. Gold ball jackpot, $28 million. The classic jackpot, $5 million. Get your tickets today at PlayAlberta.ca. I'm Jason Gregor alongside Connor Halley. We got lots and lots to discuss. It's essentially a day off. Now, the Panthers did skate today. The Oilers did not. But the Oilers, everybody knows they need a win tomorrow night. So tonight you could have another evening off. You can watch a little NBA playoffs as the Thunder and the Pacers will go at it again. And, hey, there's a Canadian connection there. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is having himself a whale of a season, a whale of an NBA final. Like, this is a guy who could win the MVP. He could win the scoring title. Well, he's already won the scoring title. He's already won the MVP. Could win the championship, and he could be the MVP in the finals. And really, there's only 3 players who've ever done that in NBA history in the same season. Shaquille O'Neal, Michael Jordan, and Lou Alcindor, who later on became Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So pretty good, I would say, company for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. The Edmonton Oilers, there's not much new now. Chris Knobloch, we'll get to his thoughts. Chris Knobloch did say, essentially, there's probably going to be a lineup change for Game 4. So now the speculation is on. If you get one lineup change, you just get one. Don't answer the question incorrectly. One lineup change. Who is it and why? Who's in? Who's out? 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. Text us in our email inbox. Who would be your one change? I won't say mine yet. We'll wait. But there's one I would make. We touched on it yesterday, and that's the one that I would look as well. Here's a surprising one. Guys, I would put in Max Jones for Arvidsson. Arvidsson looks out of place being small. Max Jones? Wow. It's kind of surprising. All right, from Rage Texter, but that would be a bold move. I don't think it's going to happen. But thing about Jones is big body, and now he hit early in his first few games, and then he kind of disappeared. Now, could he come in and have a whale of a game physically? Maybe. He could. Now, he's a left winger. Arvidsson's a right winger. So that, it's a small issue. Kapanen's already playing the right side as a left shot. So could Jones do it for a game? Probably. But I'd be surprised if Mac comes in at this point. We'll see. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Lots more to discuss on the show. Last night, hey, Riverhawks win, Stingers win. So good news for the local squad. The Stingers needed to get back on track with a win. So that's good news for them. Now they're on the road for 2 games this weekend, both Friday and Saturday night. And obviously would like a split at minimum. If they can find a way to beat Niagara, then I think they got a really good chance to sweep the weekend. So their next, they're actually their next 3 games are on the road. They're back home on June 22nd, which is a Sunday afternoon, 4:00 for the next home game for the Stingers. Meanwhile, the Riverhawks, they're off to a pretty good start. They are 5-2, which is always good after a victory last night, and they are on the road again tonight in Kelowna. Then they'll be in Kamloops on the weekend. So good start for the Riverhawks. They're back at home. They basically kind of go week at home, week on the road, week at home. So they will be at home from the 17th next Tuesday through until Sunday the 22nd. Then they go on the road again for a week. Then they're back on Canada Day, July 1st for 6 games. Then on the road. Then there's the All-Star break, and they have a 3-game homestand on the 18th, 19th, 20th July. Then I kind of like it. It's like week on the road, week at home, week on the road, week at home. It makes sense. Obviously, it cuts down on travel and everything else. So that's what they're doing. We will have a little fun today because I am I know we have 5 questions coming up, but I'm going to ask you, there's 4, there's certain days where, in sports, it's like on this day in sports and, some pretty big moments happen. You're like, wow, that's a lot of pretty big deals on one day. Today, June 11th, 4 classic movies were released. E.T. came out on June 11th. Your childhood, you likely remember that. Ferris Bueller's Day Off, June 11th. Classic movie. The when that movie came out, how many people were like, God, I would love to spend like a day off. Now I don't know. I haven't watched it in a long time. Would it age as well with today? Like today's era is just different because everybody's on their phone all the time, right? Like parents are probably tracking their kids' phone. Might be a little bit harder. Kids are probably watching that saying, God, wouldn't it be nice to be able to go somewhere and not have mom and dad know where I am? Maybe. Napoleon Dynamite, June 11th. And Austin Powers. Those are some classic movies. Powers, Dynamite, Bueller, and E.T. all on the same day, obviously in very different years. But if you're a movie buff, those are some classics. Hey, guys, I would go Nugent Hopkins for Jeff Skinner. See, well, Nuge would have to be hurt, obviously. Now, he is hurt, but how hurt? He played, didn't skate yesterday with the team. The team didn't skate today. And, we'll see where it's at. Nugent Hopkins obviously would have had to aggravate something, I think, for him not to play. Gets 2 extra days off. So, in a weird way, maybe it's best for him now. He's had 4 days off with only 1 game in between. So it's not a terrible thing for him. But, yeah, if you're bringing in Skinner for Nuge, the problem with that is now your center ice position, like you're forced for sure to have Dry Settle McDavid on separate lines, which I could make the argument in Florida when they want Barkov and Reinhart together. You can say, hey, if we can shut them down, McDavid and Dry Settle together, well, now we're pretty good. So, my stance, I like Dry Settle and McDavid apart as much as you can and then throw them together at certain times. Guys, for me, it's Stetcher for Klingberg. Fresh legs. Let Klingberg reset from Steve. Steve, that's the trade I would make. I don't see. I think, and it's not like Klingberg's played awful. I just think in the last few games, not where you'd like it to be. So it puts Kulak. He can go now. It is still 2 righties, but then Kulak and Wallman would play together. I would guess Nurse would play with Stetcher. So I don't mind that decision if they do it. Hey, boys, Frederick, take him out. He can't skate. Skinner in from Joe Daddy. Well, Joe, I'll say that. I think I'd be very surprised if they took Frederick out for Skinner. The coach really likes Frederick in the defensive zone. You're right. He's not skating at the level that he can, but even at his level, I'm not sure Skinner's a faster skater at this stage than Frederick. And Frederick's size, in this series, they like it. So I'd be surprised by that one, but you never know. We'll see. Cons, you get 1 trade. Who are you taking?
We talked about this on Fantasy Frenzy this morning. I went the same route that you did. And, to go a little bit different here, like I know Strutty brought up that 11-7 thing. I don't know if I'm as open to it. It would be a good way to still keep Klingberg out there and maybe just kind of monitor the situations. But I think that's the route I go. I'd like to see Troy Stetcher in there. And like you said, not as much about what Klingberg has done, but I'm a big fan of Troy Stetcher and what he brings. I think he's a gamer. He can play with Darnell Nurse, and you change things up just a little bit there. And he just seems to do all the little things correctly. So I think that would be good to have a bit of a stabilizing force there. I think that was brought up by David Schlemko. That against the Panthers, one of the big attributes that Klingberg has is his puck retrieval ability, and that's one of his strong suits, which is a risk to take him out of the lineup. So that's why I even opened up that 11-7 discussion. But yeah, I just want Troy Stecher back out there. I'm a big fan of him. I don't think he played poorly enough to be taken out of the lineup. It was just kind of the way things were going with bringing back Matthias Ekholm. Made a lot of sense, but I get him back into the lineup.
Okay. 833-401-1440. Other news today, Cale Makar has won his second Norris Trophy. He wins it in, I would say, pretty convincing fashion. It's hard not to have voted for him first. Now, he did receive 176 of the first place votes. Zach Werenski got 13. Man, I like Werenski. I had him second on my ballot. And then Quinn Hughes got 2 votes, which is a little surprising to me as first place votes. They didn't play enough for me. I actually had Quinn Hughes 4th on my ballot. I had Makar first, Werenski second, Thomas Harley. Thomas Harley had an unreal year in Dallas, if you look at his numbers. And then Quinn Hughes and then Josh Morrissey were my top 5. The voting had Makar first, Werenski, Hughes, Morrissey, Hedman, Dahlin, Harley, Jacob Slavin, and then Lane Hudson, Jake Sanderson coming in 10th. Evan Bouchard had finished 11th. Fox Forsling, Ryan McDonough, Devon Taves, John Carlson, Jacob Chikrin, Brock Faber, Shea Theodore. A lot of those guys got 1 vote, usually in 5th place. John Carlson got a 4th place vote. In fact, so there you go. Congratulations, Cale Makar. He became only the 9th NHL defenseman in history to score 30 goals in a season, which is pretty impressive. And the first one since Mr. Green did it with the Washington Capitals earlier in the salary cap era. Hey, guys, our decor is going pretty well pre-Ekholm. I would not have touched anything with the pairs and stayed Ekholm on the right side with Nurse in place of Stecher. Since Ekholm came in, the flow of our D has been erupted. Sam from Vancouver. Well, I'm not sure I would agree with that. He came in, they won game 5, then they won game 1 with him. They lost in overtime in game 2. Game 3 was just a colossal disaster from start to finish. So I think they played 3 pretty solid games and they had 1 meh game. So I don't know if I'm going to agree that having Ekholm in has somehow interrupted the flow, shall we say. I wouldn't do it. Hey, guys, any chance to take out a 4 to go 11-7, the 7th defenseman being Josh Brown from Matt? Matt, I'm going to say less than 0% that's a possibility. There is no way that Chris Knobloch is going to go 11-7 and have Josh Brown as a 7th defenseman. There's no need to do it. There's let's be honest. The Oilers need to win a game. They don't need to win in the alley, right? It's the Stanley Cup final. There's not a lot of time in the alley. Josh Brown doesn't play enough minutes. He's not quick enough. You'd be a liability 5-on-5 in the Stanley Cup final. I'm not doing it. Hey, boys, let the dog out in Stecher. He's roaring to go from Justin for Klingberg. Yeah, I would say that. Hey, guys, to me, the answer is Kulak out, Stecher in. Kulak failed at every single attempt to get the puck out of his own last game. Also, Nurch and Stecher can play together, and everybody's right and left Mike in Sherwood Park. Taking Kulak out. Interesting. Now, I'd have to go back and look to see if he failed at every single attempt to get the puck out of their own zone last game. I think your point is that he struggled at times, and I've seen that. I think that's fair. But I'd be surprised if it's Kulak. I actually thought Klingberg, and actually a lot of Klingberg's decisions where I felt that he struggled a little bit more was in the neutral zone when he had the puck and he's looking for a pass all the time, and then he's delaying the dump, and when he delays it slows down the guy who could be forechecking, because now he's got to slow down at the blue line. Then you dump it in, and it's basically just a turnover because you don't have anybody going. Like, watch when Florida dumps it in. They dump it in with a purpose and a mission, and they are dumping it in, and the other guy is already going. They do it all the time. So by the time you bring in a puck around, the defenseman goes to get it, that far side winger's already down by the hash marks almost. And so the pressure is on. makes a big difference. Coming up on the show today, Spec will be by. We got Eddie White. We'll talk a little NBA. Yaremchuk will join us. Ted Nolan, who went into the Canada Sports Hall of Fame, will be by. Marty McSorley, former NHLer. We'll get to him. We also will hear from Chris Knobloch, a few others, as the Oilers are getting set to get back on track. All they need is a win here. One win, and it's a best of 3. I don't believe that the series is over. The Oilers just didn't play well in Game 3. Multiple things can be accurate at the same time. The Oilers aren't out of the playoffs. They're not out of the series. They didn't play well in Game 3. So you win Game 4. They wanted a split. Obviously, you would have loved to sweep both in Florida, but they wanted a split. And I think there's some specific things they need to do as a team that we will touch on throughout the show. We'll come back. Spec will join us in the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
If you bleed orange and blue and you're not using the all-new Play Alberta Sports and Casino app, then you're missing out. It's the only online sportsbook with odds boosts on all Oilers games. And now, it's not just sports. Play the slots, hit the tables, buy lottery tickets, all in one app, all across Alberta. Download Play Alberta now from your phone's app store and use promo code GOAL for a $100 bonus. That's promo code GOAL!
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's AquaCentral reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade: safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
You have a choice, and it's a hard one. GMC employee pricing or 0% financing at Wolf GMC Buick. A hard choice, but also super awesome. Get GMC employee pricing on our Sierra lineup, from the Sierra half-ton to the heavy duties. If you have cash, get discounts over $12,000 on many of our Sierras, along with GMC pricing. Or choose 0% financing on our Sierra half-ton lineup. And what a great selection of GMC Terrains and fabulous Buick SUVs to pick from. So many choices. But one thing's for sure, you are getting the best deal at Wolf GMC Buick.
McDonald's sundaes and snack-size shapes are $2, or get $1 cones exclusively on the McDonald's app. With those prices, your hands are going to be full of treats. Like Alex here. My phone. I got you. App download and registration required. At participating McDonald's in Canada. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
This is a slam dunk. Dive into Edmonton's vibrant basketball scene with exclusive interviews and expert analysis. I'm Paul Sir, and I host The Basketball Show every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports 1440.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique, family-owned, independent liquor store. The selection? Incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Experience more at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Come for Canada's largest trade show, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. Stay for the experience. But it doesn't end there. Maximize your brand exposure with Edmonton Expo Centre's new cutting-edge feature screens, spanning Western Canada's largest venue space. Captivate an annual audience of over 1 million visitors during iconic events like Pro Rodeo, Disney on Ice, Glow, K-Days, and so much more. To learn more, call 780-660-0514 or visit EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
Well, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Portions of this hour brought to you by EWEL. Get your power play amped up with EWEL, supplying the city of champions in Alberta with quality electrical gear since 1975. EWEL.ca is your partner in power.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
2:20 Wednesday afternoon. Still a little smoky outside. Good news that is supposed to clear up later today, which is good. Man, it's sadly it's becoming almost a tradition now in Alberta and Edmonton with the smoke all the time. So if you're going out camping or wherever you're going, please be responsible with anything that could be flammable, because we do not need more fires in our province, or heck, even in BC, because the winds bring them all here. Plus, it causes a massive amount of damage and then a lot of stress for those people who lose a lot of their homes and other things. Gregor Show is always presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Use the promo code Gregor50. That's Gregor50 and get a free $50 play. Every month you get a new one, or if you're signing up as a first timer, be sure to use the code. Let's go out to Florida. Mark Spector joins us. The Spec Report brought to you by GS Construction. They just wanted to put out good vibes. Oilers tied the series, courtesy of GS Construction. Mark Spector joins us, and Spec, some of the players went out for an optional. There was no player availabilities today. The coach spoke. What do you make of a rather busy optional? Is just guys like, I got nothing else to do, let's go for a stroll? What do you make of it?
Well, I don't know really what to make of it. Whether, how would I say? There's a lot of sides to this thing. The league and the team said there's no practice. So, our cameras were there. We got them. They're all a whole bunch of guys skated. I admire the fact that guys don't want to just go fishing or go to the beach. They want to skate. They want to be ready to play. I totally get that. They should be, right? Lots of time for rest coming up here, win or lose. So, good for the Oilers, right? Not a great look on a league that gathers its whole media in one place and then basically fibs to them. I'm not, as a media member, and I get it. The people listening don't care about me or my job, and I understand that. But when you put everyone in one place and they all pay a lot of money to come here and watch the team, and the league says A and B happens, that tells me that, the league's not always telling you the truth, are they?
Yeah. It seemed a little odd because everything this morning stated there would be no skate, and that's fine. I get if they're having a day off, but to say you have
a day off.
Now, it wasn't optional, so your camera guys were there. Like, what was this, like a public skate?
Well, what it is at the Florida practice rink here in Fort Lauderdale, Jason, there's two sheets.
Okay.
So I'm not sure whether they skated on the second sheet. I think that's what happened. I'm not positive on this, but I know this. Our camera, we have like 3 or 4 cameras here because we're staffing this thing. We're a rights holder. We got a lot of guys here. They were there to shoot a panel and shoot some stuff and shoot the Florida practice. And the Oilers came out on one of the sheets, so our guys shot them too, and that's great. No one complained about that. I'm not sure if TSN got the footage. They don't have as many people here. They might be sour if they didn't. If the Oilers are skating and they don't get it, that's not good for them. I don't care about TSN because I don't work for them, but I do care about the media. And I feel like, again, it's sort of a trust issue, Jay. If I tell you I'm going to be on your show at, 4:25 Eastern and I don't show up, then when you book me tomorrow, you're kind of like, I wonder if I'm going to see Spec, or I wonder if he's holding me, stringing me along again, right? So there's, no one likes getting lied to, and I'm a regular guy. I don't like getting lied to either.
No, it's fair. Now Chris Knobloch did kind of hint in his press conference, pretty straightforward, that there's going to be a lineup change. So who do you think it is?
He did. He said there's very likely, he did a Zoom call this morning at 10 a.m. in which we were told there's no practice. He said there's very likely going to be a lineup change. And I think we all are reading the same tea leaves here. It's got to be Stetcher in, Klingberg out, right?
Okay.
The caveat here is if Nugent Hopkins can't play, then there's a necessary lineup change that you didn't want to make, but you got to make.
Right.
So he's referencing a lineup change, an optional lineup change that they're talking about. And I think that I can't think of another one unless, I could see if you wanted Skinner in really, really badly, you could find a forward to take out. They've had a couple guys haven't done much, but I suggest it's Stetcher in, Klingberg out. Klingberg hadn't been very good for a couple games here.
Yeah, that would seem like the kind of the obvious move to make at this point, right? So yeah. I could see it. I don't know. I'm not like I want to make it clear. I'm not blaming Klingberg for the loss last game. I just like when Arvidsson came out, you know what? He wasn't even playing that poorly. They're looking for a little bit of a spark and something that can get them going. So
yeah, and the one thing about Stetcher too is, if you say that Stetcher's going to come in and be as reliable as Klingberg, and I can say that with a straight face for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I also think that the body of work tells us that Darnell Nurse plays better with Stetcher. Darnell Nurse's best hockey this season came next to Stetcher, and he likes playing with Stetcher. So maybe you improve the Klingberg position, and maybe you improve the Nurse position a little bit too.
Yeah, well, I think it's more Kulak struggles on his offside. So I think if you put Nurse with a right hand shot, you probably would have better success. Now it's Stetcher in this case, sure. If you went, so I think that helps. I don't even think Nurse himself has played that poorly, but when he's played with Kulak at times, if you watch, they've got hemmed in their own zone. A lot of times it wasn't from Nurse, it was from Kulak. Right. Yep. And I get it. He's playing on his offside. It's not ideal. Wallman seems a little bit better on his offside. And so, if Stetcher does come in, then Nurse, I'm assuming, is going to play with Stetcher. Do you play Wallman or Kulak on the right? Because I would play Wallman on the right side.
I would play Wallman on the right for sure. It's kind of goofy. You're kind of running out of guys here. I get it. Someone's got to play the offside. And of all the opponents, nobody gives you less time to go back and retrieve a puck than the Florida Panthers. So you can be doing fine on your offside for, all through the playoffs and through a whole bunch of other teams. But when you try to play a position like that against Florida, it's a new kettle of fish here. So, sure, someone's going to have to suck it up and give it their best, right?
Yeah. Well, I look at like Edmonton. Well, last game it's hard to really take much out of last game because I just thought Edmonton played that poorly. And a lot of it was self-inflicted. It wasn't like, oh my goodness, Florida's doing a lot here. That's great. Like, the first goals, some missed assignments right off a face-off. And your goalies, I don't know what the hell the goalie was doing on that goal. So, that's kind of what I thought it was for them. Now, the Oilers power play spec, we saw them change it in the second period after going 0 for 4. And not only 0 for 4, a very quiet 0 for 4. Do you think they go back to their number one unit, which up until that last game had been 30% in the playoffs?
Yeah. I mean, listen, we know who their best power play guys are. Does Nugent Hopkins, Dry Settle had the first really quiet game, right? If I had to pick an Oiler today who's my top Conn Smythe guy, it's Leon Dry Settle. He's had an unbelievable playoffs. He was really quiet in game 3. It wasn't a great game for him. So, hey, it's someone else's turn, man. I'm not dumping on Leon Dry Settle. He's been carrying a load here. So that's part of it. I saw Connor McDavid has been very fiercely practicing scoring goals the last couple of days in practice. I have a sense that he feels like they're probably taking away all of his passing, the guys he passes to, and maybe he's feeling like plan B is I got to start shooting the thing. Mm-hmm. And I never think that's a bad plan B.
No, it's not a bad plan at all.
Right? I don't mind that. The guy did score. What did he score that year? 64?
64, yeah.
Yeah. So maybe a couple more of those wouldn't hurt. So listen, this power play hasn't been lethal in the playoffs. They've got the job done. Their timing's been pretty good when they've needed it. It hasn't been lethal, So I'm a guy that says McDavid needs to shoot it. I'm a guy that says tee up Bouchard for the one-timer and clean up on rebounds. They don't always agree with me on that, but that's how I solve the Oilers power play. I got Bouchard shooting it way more than he's shooting it right now.
Yeah, well, that's only going to work. So I got the numbers. The Oilers have had in 3 games, they've had 2 layered screens. That's it. And guess what? They scored on one of them. So, you know what? That's pretty good math, 50%. Now, I know that layered screens aren't that easy. I would like to see a little bit more traffic around and in front of Bobrovsky. And so when you're doing that, and if you are going to shoot Bouchard a lot more, Corey Perry's there, but Dry Settle and McDavid really aren't the net front guys, right? So that's and most successful power plays don't have a lot of high volume shooters on the back end. When the Oilers power play is the best, Bouchard shoots a bit. He doesn't shoot all the time because it just doesn't work. So it's a fine balance of finding the right sweet spot for point shots. Obviously, and here's the thing. Last game, I thought the Oilers had some really good looks, and either missed the net on them, or I felt they hesitated and then Florida got it in the shooting lane. Because, you have the shooting lane in the playoffs and it's open, but it's usually open for a brief time. And the Oilers, I think, are going to have to make a little bit quicker. Like they were off in almost every facet of their game last game, Spec. Like I'm trying to think of one facet where I'd say, you know what? I thought the Oilers played really well here. And I went back and watched the game again this morning, and there was nothing that I could find that made me believe, wow, the Oilers, this part of their game was really on.
Oh, listen, I agree. And that's why the people that are, we always fall back in Edmonton to blaming the goalie. And I'm here to tell you, the game the Edmonton Oilers rolled out, you just described it. They didn't do anything in that game better than Florida did it. Name the category. Florida was better at it than Edmonton. And that includes goaltending. But don't think there's a goalie there. Like, there might be a goalie somewhere, somehow, that could have turned that loss into a win for Edmonton. I don't think I've ever seen him play, but let's just say there was, okay? Stu Skinner's not him, right? You don't have the best goalie in the world. That's who it would have taken to win that game. I'm here to tell you, Stu Skinner's a really good goalie. He's not the best goalie in the world. And if you play a game that requires the best goalie in the world every night to win, I got news for you. You ain't winning. So, you know what?
Yep.
They got to play better and let the goalie figure it out. Let the goalie not have Verhaeghe taking a cross-ice pass and putting it under the bar because he's got so much time, like Kempe in the first round. Remember him walking in off the wing in those first two games? Of course he's going to score. He's a superstar. Yeah. So they cleaned up the Kempe walking in all alone, and guess who started making saves? Stu Skinner. So to me, that's where we are with this team. Play better, and you'll get better goaltending.
It helps for sure. Like I've said it all, the Oilers aren't constructing. Bobrovsky makes $10 million. Stuart Skinner makes 2.6. That's just a fact. He's not
Bobrovsky.
Like when people say, oh, you switch goalies, they'd win. I'm like, well, you can't just switch goalies because then you got to switch the other $7.4 million in cap space that goes along with it. It's a ridiculous statement to make, right? It's like saying, well, if you put McDavid on this team, well, yeah, they'd be better, but then you'd have to take $12.6 million in cap space off the team. People, it's not just I want this. Of course, everybody would like the best goalie in the series and the best defenseman in the series. Right? Like, what are we talking about here? So please don't mention
epic rant.
I see that all the time. People, oh yeah, if you switch goalies, they'd win. Like, it's no offense, it's the dumbest thing you can say. Unless the goalie's salary caps are even, it makes no sense. Right? Makes no sense. But now. You were out at the media thing last night, Spec. We're getting closer here. We're less than 3 weeks away from free agency. I actually wrote the piece today because it's an off day, really. Yes. And I wrote the piece about, just these two teams, but a lot of others just about free agency. And so I was going through the Oilers players, who they have. And people can read it at OilersNation.com. It just kind of outlines what kind of changes we could see. So the Oilers, for free agents, they've got Corey Perry, Connor Brown, Trent Frederick, Kasperi Kapanen, Jeff Skinner, and John Klingberg. Derek Ryan's also a UFA. I included him, but he's not coming back. I think we can all say that. I don't think Jeff Skinner is coming back. I think that one's pretty obvious. So, I don't think John Klingberg is going to come back. If I'm being bluntly honest, they've already got Stetcher, they've got Emberson as right shot defenseman, and they've got Alex Regula. So I don't really see room for Klingberg either, because Bouchard's going to get a contract and it's going to be 10 mil. Now, I made the joke about if I was his agent, I make it 9.95. So then the stigma of a $10 million player isn't on his guy, because he'd be only the fourth defenseman to be at 10 mil. Don't worry, Makar, when his contract's done very soon, and Quinn Hughes, they're going to join him. But of Perry, Brown, Frederick, Kane, and Kapanen, not Kane, how many of those four do you think are coming back? Perry, Brown, Frederick, Kapanen.
Perry, Brown, Frederick, Kapanen.
Yeah,
I think Brown will come back. I think that he does enough things that they'll. And I don't think he's a guy that can go somewhere else and make tons of money. I got Brown coming back. I got Perry coming back, but only if he doesn't take a raise. If for some reason he decides, hey, I scored 19. What's he got in the playoffs now? 8 or 9?
8.
That guy should get paid more, right? Those numbers equal $2.5 million. So he won't make that in Edmonton. So that's my caveat on Perry. Do they want him back? You're damn right they want him back. He's productive. He's good. He does all the stuff. But you can only pay. What's he making now? 1.3 or something?
His base salary was 1.15, and then he had a 250,000 bonus, which he made. So he's actually a 1.4 cap hit. But so the Oilers have bonus overages of 250K for Perry for next season.
Okay, so that's fine. Frederick, I'm bringing Frederick back, but I think we all know what Frederick is here. Frederick is just, he's a bottom six winger. The Oilers could use a younger guy like him. They could use a tougher guy like him. I know we're not seeing 100% of Frederick with his ankle issue. I get all those things,
100%.
but I'm not paying Frederick $4 million. He's a third line winger. That's what he is. So I'd like to have him back if I'm the Oilers, for sure. But if he gets a payday somewhere and someone wants to pay him 4.5 or 5, he's not getting that from me as an Oilers GM, for sure. And who's the last guy? Kapanen?
Yep.
I like to keep Kapanen because he's the fastest guy you got behind McDavid. So I'd like to keep him. And I think, again, there's a caveat here on when you're building a cup winner. Guys in the bottom six can't make $3-4 million, and certainly Kapanen can't. I want to ask you this, okay? I feel this. Let's talk about Evander Kane. My feeling on Evander Kane is this. The time I want him is in a contract year. That is the time when he's shooting for one more contract here, man, and I want him in that year. So if you're the Oilers, do you say he's going to play for me, or do you take this opportunity to move the most valuable Evander Kane this summer somewhere else?
It's a good question. Now he has a say in it because he's like half the league. He won't.
He's got a half the league.
So he's got a say in it.
There's teams. Dallas would want him. Toronto would want him. There's some teams out there that are light. Carolina would want him.
Yeah. Oh no, there's lots of teams that would want him, but I think Edmonton in ways want him. It's probably going to depend a little bit on what does he do here the rest of the way. Like, is he keeping taking undisciplined penalties? Well, then that might make it a little bit easier to move him. I'll say this. I think the Oilers spec are going to move Arvidsson in the summertime. And I think I know Arvidsson has a no movement clause, but I think Arvidsson, he's going into his last year of his contract. He's going to want more of an opportunity. He doesn't want his last year of his contract to be where he's playing on your fourth line, or he's not getting a ton of power play time. So I don't think it's going to be that hard to have Victor Arvidsson waive his no movement clause. And
what's he making? 4.5?
4 mil. So that frees up some, because I think Kapanen's coming back for sure. I think Ted Frederick's coming back. I don't think anybody's going to pay him $4 million. I'll just say that. I think he's probably a $3 million guy. I looked at comparables at him and everything else. He's 3 to 3.5 because he had a little bit of a down year last year. You might get him at 3. On a 3-year deal. I think Trent Frederick, because the great part for him is 3-year deal. He's only 30 when it's done. He still can cash in, and he can have the opportunity that over those 3 years, he can get some minutes, because eventually it'll happen. Podkolzin played half the year with Dry Settle. Trust me. Yep. Frederick will get an opportunity there at some point, and there's an opportunity to make some more goals and assists and add your point totals, which could then help you on another contract. I actually think Connor Brown is the tough one, because Connor Brown on the free agent market probably can get $2.5 million. And the Oilers, he might even push 3. If I was looking at some comparisons, guys fast, good forechecker, skates, all those sorts of things. And, he made $1 million last year. I know he made 4 the year before, but he's the guy I wonder. I think Edmonton wants him back spec, but I think he's the guy who might get priced out if he's like, well, I got to test the market here and see. And I think on the free agent market, he could get $2.7 to $3 million, and that's probably going to be outside of Edmonton's price range.
I want to say too that what happens in these next 3 or 4 games here are a big deal.
Yeah.
If you win a cup, guys say, okay, I got my cup. Now I can chase some money. And if you don't win a cup, I think we're all looking at the Oilers and huge disappointment. You went 2 years in a row, you didn't win, and that sucks like crazy. But I think we're all looking at the Oilers and saying, you know what, they got an excellent chance to win a cup next year. And as a player, I have a hard time jumping off this ship right now the way they're going if I've never won a cup and that's my dream. If we win the cup and I can go to free agency and get paid 40, 50, 60% more in some other town, I may take my ring and go. Is that fair?
Oh, I think wholeheartedly. And it's funny you mentioned that, because I looked at Florida's side of things, and I think, because Florida actually has a few bigger names, right? They've obviously got Sam Bennett. Now, hey, I like Biz, but Biz is he's the only person saying 10 million, and people are like, oh yeah, he's worth 10. It's no offense, Biz. It's moronic. He ain't getting 10 million. This is Biz. You know what? He's gonna pump 10 million for the next 3 weeks. And then when he signs, he's gonna tell everyone, see, he got a home discount in Florida. So that's gonna match his theory that Florida's getting these huge rebates. When the truth of the matter is, and trust me, don't fall for it, people, but he is setting this up. This is a total political stance. 10 million. Oh, he signs for 7? What a home bargain. Oh my God, he never would have signed there anyway. What a steal. No.
I love it.
I crunch this. So Sam Bennett in 2025 is essentially Nazem Kadri after he won the cup with Colorado. They're not much difference, but now the difference is Kadri had 87 points that year in the regular season, right?
Bennett's never had more than 50.
Yeah, he had 51 this year. That's it. And Kadri's been better, but Kadri actually in points per game in the playoffs, points per game in the regular season, the 3 years leading up to his big deal, he's better than Bennett. And he got $7 million when the cap hit was 82.5. So now the cap hit's 95.5. So if we just went straight across the board on percentage of cap, then Bennett is 8.1. That's just on percentage of cap, but he's never been an 80-point player. He's never been a 70-point player. He's never been a 60-point player, with Kadri's being 4 times. So even at that, 8.1 is the max, the ultimate max. And I don't even like that comparison. And that's why I think 7 million is what I said all along. That's what he should get. I think Florida's going to sign him, Spec, but Aaron Ekblad, unless Aaron Ekblad decides to stay there for 4.5, I think they're going to do what Tampa Bay did. Stamkos, here's a contract offer. It's going to be pretty low because that's all we want to pay you. So you take it, Ekblad, or you don't, and then you go to free agency. And I'll be curious to see if he does it or not. If they win again, Aaron Ekblad might say, well, I've won 2 cups. I'm going to get some money.
Yep. Listen, it's hard when you win in terms of not falling in love with guys. My picked poster boy in this is Brent Seabrook, right?
Oh, yes.
Chicago signed Brent Seabrook to way too much money because everyone loved him because he was the sort of the de facto captain of that team. He didn't wear the C, but he was a giant piece of that team, man.
Yeah.
And they paid him and started regretting it about 2 months later. So if you want to stay good, you can't fall in love with a player. And that includes Aaron Ekblad. That includes Sam Bennett. And I want to say about Sam Bennett, we all can see this. If he's a 50-point guy in the season, he's sure worth more than that in the playoffs. So the team that wants him is a good playoff team. Like Dallas, they could say, you know what, we're going to get playoff Sam Bennett because we make playoffs every year. Winnipeg, yeah. Maybe Toronto, whatever. But for a team like Vancouver to try to sign Sam Bennett, if you play one playoff round or don't make the playoffs, then you got a 50-point player for $8 million.
Yeah.
Right? You better be a good team if you're going to take Sam Bennett on.
Yeah. Well, and I think Sam Bennett's probably going to want to sign with a good team. He's a little bit of a unicorn because he's here, Sam, to put it in perspective to people, Sam Bennett has 14 goals in the playoffs this year. In the salary cap era, the only guys with more goals in a single playoff year, Crosby in 2009 with 15, Ovechkin with 15 in 2018, and Zach Hyman last year with 16. That's it.
Wow. It's pretty good.
And the cup isn't, he could tie Crosby and Ovechkin if he scores 2 more. He ties Hyman. So we're talking it's a great run. But the guys, he's never 28 goals is his career high back in 2022. He had 25 last year. I like Sam Bennett a lot. He play on my team every day. Yep. He's not a $10 million player. He's not a $9 million player. I don't even think he's an $8 million player. But he's a hell of a valuable player on your team. And you might pay a little bit more, $8 million, to get him for your playoffs. But Biz, I love you. And anybody out there who's repeating 10 million, you're getting sucked in. You're getting sucked in with Biz so he can tell you afterwards Bennett took a hometown deal.
Yep. It's a tax thing, man. It's a tax thing.
Yeah, that's what he's going to tell you. Oh, it's saving on tax.
I love that.
Spec, have yourself a great Wednesday evening. Was there anything else with all the media guys together? There's always rumblings. Was there any juicy rumbling around there? Because there's always some. We know that I know that free agency you're not supposed to talk, Spec, but you and I know that that's BS. So is there any juicy rumblings that you've heard?
I was talking to the guys from Anaheim last night, and they had that Kreider thing going on. They've been hearing this I know Frank Saravelli, I think, broke it yesterday. They've been hearing it for a few days on Anaheim. So there's something happening there. Quenneville's it's different now with Quenneville. I think that everyone's thinking that they're taking a step. They're doing some different things. And the one guy to watch here is Zegras, right?
Yeah. His name's
Trevor
been out there
Zegras.
for a while. Yeah.
There's very conflicting reports as to whether Trevor Zegras makes it to training camp in Anaheim.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Awesome. Spec. Yeah. Great stuff, buddy. We will chat with you tomorrow, and we'll break down the orders and some changes they got to make. Have yourself a great
All right, boys. Jay, see you, man.
That's Mark Spector, the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction. So we wanted to get into it because, hey, you know what? We talk a lot about the Cup, but you're probably a little bit Cup fatigued, right? There's nothing that's going to change. They're not playing tonight. So I didn't want to look ahead a little bit to the free agent summer because it's not far away, right? It's less than 20 days. Free agency is actually 3 weeks yesterday is when it starts on July 1st. Now, obviously, you know, the orders will, if guys they want to re-sign, they'd like to re-sign them before then. So whenever the Cup ends, there's not going to be a whole lot of time for Stan Bowman to negotiate. Now, that doesn't mean that he can't talk to agents right now. Like that, you can do two things. I talked to Stan about it. He's like, well, of course, man. Like on days off, there's not a, like, what are you doing as a GM? You know, you're not game planning. That's a coach's job. So you work on other things, signing other guys. The Oilers currently have 11 forwards under contract. Now that includes Tomasek, right? Who they signed from the Czech, and it includes Jones, who I'm not sold will be on your roster. Maybe he's your 14th forward if you carry 14, or if you only want to carry 13, you don't need him, and he can clear waivers and go to the minors. We'll see what happens there. He can play in the NHL. I don't know if he's a guy that's going to be on your. Now maybe he gets on your roster next year, like a lot of other guys, and finds a home and has a really consistent season and carries into the playoffs because he can skate. He's got size. He's got a lot of things you like. He just doesn't seem to use his size as often as you would like. But maybe he'll be like Kapanen. And all of a sudden he finds his game and you're like, damn, here's a player. And that's why, like, Kapanen for me, he's $1 million player. The good news is he doesn't have big enough stats to go out there and, command a significant raise from anyone. Unless, I guess, somebody's like, oh my God, look at him. We're going to pay him $2 million now, right? Like, look at Klim Kostin. How's that work out for San Jose? And I think players really need to be cognizant of that. Kostin, he would love to come back to Edmonton. The coach likes you. The coach trusts you. That is, unless you're like a real superstar player where wherever you go, you're going to get to play. I see lots of guys who leave a team who were offered a contract, not a raise, same contract, maybe even a slight deduction, but the coach knows them. Coach is going to play him. No, I go somewhere else. And guess what? They don't get played. They end up not having fun, and they end up not enjoying their time. So if you're Kasperi Kapanen, and if the Oilers offered me a 1-year deal at $1 million, I sign it tomorrow. Why would I wait? Because I don't see a situation that's going to necessarily be better. A, I'm on a competitive team. B, I got a coach who trusts me. He's playing me with some star players. He's playing me on the penalty kill. What more could he ask for? So those are things you got to look at. We'll discuss it next on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, live on Sports 1440 and Sports1440.ca.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Silent Rides is one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies. With state-of-the-art motor coaches, we provide our customers with the safest and most reliable ground transportation. Our seatbelt-equipped buses have become the preferred carrier for many local sports teams, tours, corporate outings, and other various travel across Western Canada. For more information and to request a quote, call 1-877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
With all the news about tariffs and price hikes coming our way, you have to be strategic with your money. St. Albert Dodge knows that and has some good news for you. Right now, all Ram 1500s are available with 0% financing for up to 72 months. So think about it. You can get into a brand new Ram 1500 right now at pre-tariff prices, while selection is still good, and pay 0 interest on your financing. That keeps more money in your pocket. And that's how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Back by popular demand, the Operation 36 Junior Golf Program at Cattail Crossing Golf Club. Designed for kids ages 5 through 17, it combines instruction and on-course play, focusing on technique, strategy, and course management. Taught by certified CPGA pros. Only $325 for 4 weeks of instruction, plus 4 9-hole rounds of golf. Operation 36, Wednesdays 5:30 till 7:30 p.m. through August. Register at cattailcrossing.ca. Click on Junior Program or call 780-973-6686.
Get ready to revolutionize your job site with Edmonton Kubota's game-changing compact construction equipment. From mini excavators and skid steers to track loaders, carriers, and utility vehicles, they have a model to fit every need, all powered by legendary Kubota diesel engines. These machines are built for performance and reliability. Transform your work with Edmonton Kubota's top-of-the-line compact equipment. Visit them today and see why they're the name you can trust for power and precision.
Are you an elite athlete or weekend warrior and you just want to enjoy playing the sport you love with less or even no pain? Have you tried every exercise and stretch imaginable, hoping the next one might do the trick? Well, you tried analog. At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, we believe healing can move along better and sometimes even faster with evidence-based technology techniques and the people who know how and when to apply it. StimPod, zero-gravity treadmills, radial shockwave, and so much more at your fingertips when you click to find us at leadingedgephysio.com.
I won't shave till we bring home the cup.
And I like to do a shot for every playoff goal. My jersey's not coming off until we're the city of champs again.
Want a playoff superstition that always wins? Pick up a bag of Wilhock beef jerky for every game. Because when it comes to the playoffs, where there's a Wilhock, there's a way.
Make every playoff game a Will Hockey game day with Will Hock beef jerky. Only available in Leduc. Get yours today because you don't bring home the cup with salad.
It's the summer Big Red Sale at Canadian Tire. Save up to 50%.
What are you doing?
These are the biggest deals of the season. I'm shouting it from the rooftop.
You have a radio ad. You don't need to be up there.
The summer Big Red Sale is on from June 5th to June 12th. Conditions apply. Details online.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Harley-Davidson of Edmonton on the Yellowhead Trail, locally owned and operated by the Kent family and celebrating 45 years. See all our rides at hdedmonton.com.
Tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley. Holy cow. Hey, if you're recording the Jays game, turn it down for 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Break up the Jays, baby. They're rolling again. Winners of 21 of their last 31, and they now lead by 3 heading into the top of the 9th inning as they've been playing good teams here lately. So I give them credit, man. Like they've been the hottest team in MLB for the last month. Got the best record in the game. So, geez, a few of us, myself included, might be in a little bit of crow here based on because wasn't loving their managers. And hey, the season's not over yet, but they're trending pretty well right now. They are trending pretty well. Cons, you have to admit, because I think you were like me. A lot of us were like, "What do they do?" Like, come on, but it's working right now. I'll give them credit.
Yeah, I mean, what I always look at this team, I say they're mediocre, and that's all they're going to be for a long time. I'm still not holding out hope. I'm not getting too excited because I still think we could see them fall in a couple series down the road here and, finish third or whatever it might be in the AL East and close to a 500 record. It's been great. I'm hoping it doesn't happen. I'd love to eat some crow on this one, but there's lots of baseball left to be played, so they got to keep it going.
Hey, guys, it was talked about that Bennett turned down Florida's deal. They wanted Verhaeghe deal. Bennett said no. Well, and hey, great if he did. Let's just look at Carter Verhaeghe's numbers. 42 goals, 73 points, 34 goals, 72 points, 24 goals, 55 points, 20 goals. Like his worst season of the last 4, 20 goals, 53 is still better than any season Bennett's ever had. And Verhaeghe, look at his playoffs. 21 points in 24 games, 17 and 21. Like, I get that Bennett's physical. I understand it all. But he's not as productive. So How can he ask for way more? That seems, we'll see. No, hey, that's how negotiations work. And you know what? Bennett right now, good for him. He is having the career year at the time, because I'm just going to say it right now. I've seen lots of guys get more money, and it's buyer's remorse. I love Sam Bennett as a player, but the minute you overpay him, you don't like him as much. It's just that simple. And to get value on an 8 years, well, I guess it would be 7 if it's not Florida, 7 years at $8 million for Sam Bennett. How many years are you going to even say, hey, we got good value on a return? It's just hard. Unless you believe that Sam Bennett is going to be a guy who is just finding his offensive stride. And maybe that's what you're going to bet on. You're going to bet that Sam Bennett, the guy we saw in the past, is not the Sam Bennett we're going to see in the future. The Sam Bennett we saw this season, that's the Sam Bennett of the future. And you could be right? Like, he is a 3-time 20-goal scorer. Great. But, you need more than 20 goals to get H. Schmiel. And obviously he's having the unreal postseason with 14 goals in his career. And he's got 14 goals in 20 games this year. Prior to that, he had 15 goals in 84 playoff games. So 15 and 84, 14 and 20. It's a pretty big difference. He's having an unreal year. Good for him. And, he's going to set himself up. But I'm telling you right now, and I have outlined this for years, I study free agency, and it is where big spending happens. Who is the GM? Ron Hextall. And, what was his exact line, Cons? You remember what he said about July 1st? It's just where, essentially, to paraphrase it, that's where most bad decisions are made. On July 1st. Sanity doesn't reign there. And I love Sam Bennett as a player. But he'll never do this again. He's not going to score 14 goals in 20 games again in the playoffs. Right? Heck, Ovechkin and Crosby, they each scored 15 once. And they're considered the 2 best players up until McDavid came along in the salary cap era. They did it once. I think Sam Bennett's going to do it again. Come on. And I love Sam Bennett. I love how he plays. He brings a lot of elements, not just points, but ultimately when you're making that much money, you need some points. You're not paying a guy $8 million to score you 50 points and then hope, because like I said, look at the other years. 5 goals in 20 games, 7 goals in 19. Good, but a far cry from 14 and 20. It's a big difference. So you get sucked into paying a guy off of a career year. That's when you end up having a bad future. It's just how it is. Hey guys, any word if Stu Skinner doesn't start? We don't have an official word on it, but I'd be surprised. Doesn't mean it can't happen. I'd be surprised if, last game was a terrible game by everybody, not just Stu Skinner, right? LA, when he got pulled, it was 2 consecutive games, and you didn't like him in some of them. I had a real hard time with Skinner being the scapegoat last night, right? Plus, when Pickard came in, the goal he allowed, I don't think they loved. So I think it's going to be Skinner. I would be surprised if it wasn't. So, hey guys, the best team will win the cup. Let's forget about Game 3. When both teams are at their best, the Oilers are going to win as long as they don't give away another game. Still believing from Ty Guy. Well, your last line is very true. Don't give away another game, and it's hard in the playoffs. Right now, the good news for the Oilers is, in Game 1 they were the better team and they found a way to win. Game 2, I thought it was close. I wouldn't say they were clearly the better team in Game 2. I thought it was pretty even. You might even make an argument that Florida's a little bit better. Obviously, Edmonton had to tie it the latest ever. So probably even. Now, Game 3, there's no debate who the better team was. So Edmonton needs to come back. And Connor McDavid said it. We haven't had our best, but it's coming. And now you enter the time of series where the Edmonton Oilers, over the last 2 years, that's where they dominate. They're 18-2 in games 4-7. They're going to need McDavid. They're going to need everybody in those games. It's just a fact. So, I'm curious to see, how this team comes out tomorrow, because it's got to be a lot better, a lot more composed, a lot more controlled, a lot more energetic. I think a lot more efficient, and just make better decisions. It's going to have to happen. Hey, guys, what about Marchand? What do you think he gets, Montana to Rice? Good question. Brad Marchand, he just finished an 8-year deal that paid him $6.125 million. And, man, what an unreal deal. He's 37 years of age when the contract ended. And you can make a strong argument that every year of that deal Boston got at least fair market value. In a lot of years, way more. He had 100 points. He had 85 points. He was making 6.125. It was unreal. So I look at Brad Marchand and I say, okay, now where's he going to fit? Because I think if Brad Marchand wins with Florida, now he's won 2 cups. So could he go to a place that he's like, well, yeah, winning's nice and I want to win, but I also, hey, maybe I want to play in a Canadian market, right? He spoke eloquently about the Toronto Maple Leafs, and he actually has a few times. I'm not stupid. Brad Marchand is definitely not stupid. Hey, what does Toronto lack? They lack somebody who just knows how to show up in games, and Brad Marchand knows that. Right. Brad Marchand, I think, is somebody he likes the spot. Maybe likes is the wrong word. He's comfortable in the spotlight. He can joke around. He's not afraid to say stuff. Right. Got a thick skin. When you give as much as you got to have a thick skin because he can take it. So I could see how I'd want to play in a Canadian market. I've talked to lots of guys, and it is different. Even there might be more pressure. See, it all depends how you look at it. There's pressure of a Canadian market, or there's the excitement of a Canadian market. And if you have a winner's attitude, I think you view it as the excitement. Can it be hard at days? Sure. But it still ain't as hard as the single dad or the single mom have it. That's hard. Okay? That is hard. Being an NHL player in a Canadian market when you aren't winning really isn't that hard. If we want to grade levels of hard, that ain't hard. Oh, geez, I'm still making 6 or 7 mil. Oh, somebody wrote on their Twitter page how I suck. How will I survive? Okay? That's a lot different than those single parents or, parents of young families right now in our economy, grinding paycheck to paycheck. That's hard. So don't ever, I'm sorry. It's not that I lack empathy. I think I've shown on the show for years I have a lot of empathy. But I don't have much empathy for someone who wants to tell me it's hard playing in a Canadian market. Like, hard on what level of hard? Let's be realistic here. Are you waking up every day stressed that you're not going to be able to pay your bills? No. Are you waking up stressed that your kids aren't getting a good education because maybe the where you live or the school? No. Right? You can pay for any tutor you want. So what's your hard? Well, geez, I got a few people online. Well, don't go online. Because I can tell you, I've talked to so many players who have told me, you know what? You might hear bad things online. I've never had somebody come up to my face and done it. So is it really that hard? And the old adage, would you ever ask or would you ever take criticism from someone that you would never ask advice from? Probably not, right? Criticism from someone that you ask advice or take advice from, you're really going to listen to it. Criticism from Sam 24 in the basement, probably not. So Marchand, I think winning could impact his decision too. I'm sure he loves Florida. He's having a lot of success there. I get it. He fits in. Why wouldn't he? He's loving their third line. So yeah, he's a guy I think they'd like. And what's his salary going to be? 5 mil? Yeah. And on a 3-year deal, I think he'd give you good value. Let's get to the con man and a sports 1440 update brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. They always give you great value. No interest, no payment for 1 year on your AC unit, legacyheating.ca.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Cale Makar's won the Norris Trophy for the league's top defenseman, the second time he's done so, also winning in 2022. He received 176 first-place votes of the 191 cast. The 26-year-old from Calgary has been nominated for the Norris 5 times in his first 6 seasons in the league. Tonight, Game 3, NBA Finals. Pacers host the Thunder just after 6:30 out in Indianapolis. Right now, a few baseball games going on, including the Jays leading the Cards 5-2 in the bottom of the ninth. Elsewhere, Diamondbacks up on the Mariners 4-2. The Angels trail the Athletics 2-0. And the Dodgers behind the Padres 1-0. Later tonight, you got the Yankees and Royals, Twins, Rangers, Giants taking on the Rockies, and the Twins hosting the Rangers earlier today. Pirates over the Marlins 5-2. The Braves knocked off the Brewers 6-2, and Reds losing to the Guardians 11-2. WNBA tonight, Commissioner's Cup. We got Aces, Sparks, Wings, Mercury, and Lynx Storm. All those games get going just after 8 o'clock. And the Edmonton Riverhawks on the road once again tonight in Kelowna, taking on the Falcons. First pitch set for 7:35 p.m. Mountain Time. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Oilers Nation Tyler Yaremchuk, the Indiana Pacers post-game host Eddie White, and another edition of Cam Tate's 2-Minute Warning. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Hold on to your hockey helmet, Edmonton. On the Rocks is serving up 60-cent wings that fly off the plate faster than a slap shot. And Molson Canadians for $5.25. OTR's TVs, hey, they're so clear you'll see the puck better than the ref. That ain't hard, is it? And every game night during Edmonton's playoff run, specials start 30 minutes before puck drop and last for the whole game. Be a part of the legend. See the menu at ontherocksyeg.com.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at cantork.com.
Football is back at Play Alberta Field at Commonwealth. Cheer on your green and gold as we kick off the excitement with the ultimate celebration. Thursday, June 19th, Edmonton versus Montreal. Home opener tickets at GoElks.com. Game day sponsored by Edmonton International Airport. Go Elks!
Canada's best bedroom sale continues at The Brick. Make your bedroom a dream come true with incredible savings. Like up to 40% off bedroom furniture and select mattresses, up to $1,500 off sectionals, and up to 25% off dining packages, TV stands, wall units, and electric fireplaces. Plus, buy more, save more. Up to an additional $500 off select brands of major appliances. Some exclusions apply. See thebrick.com for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Wednesday afternoon.
Shakes are $2 or get $1.
How are you? And welcome
on the McDonald's.
to the J.
With those prices, your hands are going to be full of treats. Like Alex here.
It's a little smoky outside. Good news.
Required. At participating McDonald's in Canada. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
Mr. Ruther toasts the newly.
Turn it down for 10
A
seconds.
relationship is like a hot water tank. It brings warmth, but only if you start with a spark. Your love is the pilot light, and the burner is your love growing from that tiny spark. And the anti-corrosion anode rod is the sacrifices you make for each other to keep things from getting all gross and crusty. May your love last as long as a Mr. Rooter workmanship guarantee. For life.
For a plumber you'll keep for life, call Mr. Rooter.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.308. Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440. The Jays, winners of 22 of their last 32. They got the best record in MLB. Are you a believer? Are you a believer? Oiler fans, I know you believe the team can still win, but hey, there's lots going on in the sporting world, not just the Stanley Cup playoffs, even though maybe in your household and in your world right now, that's all you care about, which is totally fine. You got to be focused in. You're zoned in. But on the days in between, can mention a few other things. Jays, we're talking about potential free agents for the Edmonton Oilers. They've got less than 3 weeks to decide. Now, I get why they're not going to announce contracts during the Cup final. Makes sense, right? Doesn't mean the agent and the GM aren't talking. But you're an agent, you're not talking to your player right now. That's just, unless your player's like, yeah, I don't care, I'll talk about it. But most guys are like, no, I don't want to worry about it. So we'll see. Frederick, Kapanen, Brown, Perry, Klingberg, Jeff Skinner, free agents. Well, Derek Ryan, too. Derek Ryan's not coming back. I don't think Jeff Skinner, I don't expect him to come back. John Klingberg, I don't see with all the righties they have. And remember, they got Alex Regula too, right? With Emberson and Stetcher. So, and I like Klingberg. I think he's played well, but cap-wise, everything else. I think Klingberg, the way he's played, he's going to be able to command. He's a right shot defenseman who moves the puck. He probably can get $3 million in the open market. I wouldn't be surprised at all. So, it's 2.5 to 3, and I don't think Edmonton can afford that right now. So we'll see. 833-401-1440, 833-401. You can text us in our inbox. It is the Gregor Show, always presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the lovely province at PlayAlberta.ca. And remember, the OG Lotto 649, $28 million for the gold ball jackpot tonight and the classic jackpot of $5 million. Get your tickets, PlayAlberta.ca. As we head out to Florida, as we go in the room, brought to you by Action Electrical. Take action on your savings right now. If you're thinking about it, look outside. Geez, it's sunny out. You see some of your neighbors maybe getting it. Great saving. We actually got an email from Mark, who was the winner last year. He got everything installed. Just sent us some pictures. Hey, fellas, my bills are non-existent. He was quite excited. So, hey, that could be you at actionelectrical.net. As we welcome in Tyler Remchuk from Oilers Nation and Daily Faceoff. Ty, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Greggs. I'm poolside in Fort Lauderdale, living a good life. I still got the towel around my waist. I was in the pool right before this hit.
Well, thankfully, you have a shirt on. Thanks for doing that. That is nice. Now, we've talked lots about the Oilers. I'm not sure there's much more to dissect about the game because they stunk. Everybody know it. They kind of stunk in everywhere. But Chris Knobloch did say, expect one lineup change. So there's one change. What's your change?
It's got to be Stetcher for Klingberg. And honestly, going back to when Ekholm returned, I was kind of sitting there saying, they had three pairings. When Ekholm was out, I felt like they had three pairings that were really working. I liked Kulak and Bouchard. Wallman and Klingberg were good. And then Nurse and Stetcher was really working. And they brought in Ekholm, put him with Bouchard because that's his spot. And I totally understand why they did it. But they disrupted two of their three pairings versus if they would have brought Ekholm in for Klingberg and eased Ekholm in on the third pair, you only would have disrupted one of your pairings. So going into game 4, I would have Stetcher in for Klingberg. I would be going back to Kulak, Bouchard, Nurse, Stetcher, and I'd play Ekholm with a puck mover and Wallman on the right side and flip Wallman over. But I think it's like, I don't think there's a change up front coming. Like, I can't see Jeff Skinner drawing in or this coaching staff viewing Jeff Skinner as some sort of a solution. So it's got to be Stetcher for Klingberg.
Yeah. Unless he surprises everyone and it's a goalie, but I guess I'd be pretty surprised about that as well at this juncture. The Oilers, just as a team, as a group, they got to play better. I think they want to play better. I would expect them to play better. Doesn't guarantee they'll win, though, because Florida's a pretty good team. So I look at the Oilers, and what do you make of the fact that they, in Florida specifically, in the Stanley Cup final now, it's 5 games. McDavid has points in one of those games. He said, hey, we haven't brought our best game yet. I think he includes himself in that. They need more from their captain.
Yep, they definitely do. I mean, the fact that they've barely scored in any of these playoff games that have been in Florida or in these cup final games in Florida the last 2 years, like, that's a reason to be concerned. And you mentioned the McDavid number. It goes deeper than that. Like, you go back to last game and it's like, hey, power play bad, penalty kill bad, goaltending wasn't great, the star players weren't good, the depth wasn't good. Like, there's 5, 6, 7 things that went wrong in that hockey game for them to get blown out. You probably need 4 or 5 of those 6 things to get turned around in a hurry here. And McDavid and Dry Settle absolutely aren't exempt from that at all. I mean, I get it was probably tough for Dry Settle to really get into the game because he doesn't kill penalties. And then that means he's sitting on the bench a ton when Edmonton was making their parade to the box early on. But both McDavid and Dry Settle, like, again, at some point, a big-time player's got to have a big-time game for you. And I'm not saying they haven't been good in these playoffs. They obviously have been, but this is a massive stage. And to sit there and, go, what, Connor, Leon, maybe it's time for a little 2-3-point night to put the team on your back. Like, I don't think that's an unfair expectation for Edmonton's 2 all-world players.
No, and I think they'd be the first ones to tell you, hey, that's our job. That's what did McDavid say? Well, I get paid to produce points, right? It's very straightforward, and it's true. And now Draisaitl might not have killed penalties, but he's on the power play, and they had 4 of them in the first period, and he didn't even have a shot on goal. So, I look at their power play. I think it needs to – their power play is the best, and I agree with McDavid when he says we outwork the opposition. I think their power play's got to get a little bit harder, and they've got to be quicker and move that puck with more efficiency rather than just kind of sit back because Florida's been a little passive. And I think that almost sucks Edmonton into thinking, oh, they got more time. Well, they got to attack, and they got to outwork the penalty killers of the Panthers.
Yeah, one thing I kind of noticed on the power play, and I was sitting up in the press box, my seat buddy was Jason Demers, so we were breaking down a couple of those Oilers power plays during the game, then the next day on Oilers Nation every day, and he pointed out, like, when the Oilers were getting point shots from Bouchard, it really worked, and I went back and watched some of the highlights, like, when they put McDavid, Dry Settle, and Bouchard basically in a straight line at the top of the zone, Florida would almost like retreat hard. Like they would move their top penalty killer. He'd slide closer down to the hash marks versus being up at the top of the circle. And I kind of want to see the Oilers have a bit more of that top-down approach. Like if you go, the pass to Leon's not there. It's the reason why he was held shotless on those 4 power play attempts, right? If you go with more of a top-down approach, even if they want to take away Leon, you're then accepting, if you're Florida, that you're going to either give Evan Bouchard a clean shot, or you're going to give the quick feed to McDavid where he can work down and go to someone backdoor, or cause some chaos like he did in game 2 and find that backdoor feed to Leon Draisaitl in his office. I would like to see that top-down approach. They do it a lot at 5-on-5, where that third forward, the F3 in the O-zone, like loops up to the top of the zone and they attack downhill. They don't do it on the power play, but it works at 5-on-5, and I don't think Florida will be able to handle it. So that's one piece of, like, I don't know, film, I guess if you want to call it that I noticed, where if they put the 3 up high and attack downhill, I felt like Florida got more passive. It might be a way to solve the penalty kill.
Yeah, well, you know what? The first 2 games, it was okay. Well, the first game was okay. Second game, meh. Third game, obviously not good at all. So you look for it. I would think they'll put Nugent Hopkins back there. I think the fact that they moved him illustrates, because we never see that. And that showed kind of how the coach, I think, was a little bit frustrated with the lack of urgency and the lack of effectiveness from their power play. Moving to free agency, which is less than 3 weeks away. And the Oilers, they got a lot of free agents up front: Frederick, Perry, Kapanen, Brown, Jeff Skinner, Derek Ryan, and then Klingberg on the back end. I think Klingberg's gone for sure, just because they have Regula, Emberson, and Stetcher. And so I don't think they're going to, and they got Josh Brown. I know he's a depth guy, but still, I don't think they're going to have that many right shot guys in the organization. So I think he's gone. Up front, though, Perry, Frederick, Brown, and Kapanen. I'm assuming Jeff Skinner is going to be gone. Of those 4, how many do you think are back?
Excuse me. I'm of the belief that Trent Frederick's close to a deal. Sorry, excuse me. I got something in my throat there. But I think Trent Frederick will be back. If Corey Perry wants to come back for $1 million, you can make that work. Jeff Skinner's probably as good as gone. And listen, like, you can't bring everybody back. So I think they probably need to decide between Connor Brown and Kasperi Kapanen. And who knows what the cost for either guy is. Brown, 31 years old. Kapanen, waiver claim, 28 years old. Connor Brown maybe ends up getting a little bit more than like the $1.5 million deal this summer if another team kind of likes what he did in the playoffs. But I would say Perry was back if he wants to. Frederick, I think, will be back. I bet you they get a 2-year deal done with him. And then Connor Brown and Kasperi Kapanen, I think that's your choice, because like they have, if you consider, I'm looking at their Puckpedia, swap Max Jones for Matt Savoy. They have 11 on the roster. Add Perry, add one of Kapanen or Brown, add Trent Frederick. That's 14 players. Like you can't just bring back everyone. They do have decisions to make. And I think the big decision is one of Kapanen or Brown. The other one you probably just have to let walk.
Yeah, see, I think Kapanen's the guy they keep because he's going to be cheaper. Because I think Connor Brown in the open market could get anywhere from 2.5 to 3. Whereas Kapanen on the open market, he's probably coming in around $1 million, right?
Hey,
like that's what it is.
And they did talk about the fact that they liked Kapanen over the summer, right? They wanted to sign him. He chose St. Louis. So, again, like Trent Frederick's a guy they identified early on as a fit. Even though it hasn't gone well, they seem committed to bringing him back and sort of trusting their process that identified him as a deadline target. And with Kapanen, it's almost the same. They identified him in free agency. They eventually got a chance later on to jump on him. I think you're right. Between the two, a cheap deal for Kapanen is probably the play. And Connor Brown, it's one of those like, man, what a good soldier for you the last couple of playoffs, but you sort of shake his hand and say, thank you, and now go get a payday.
Yeah, so I think that's probably how it plays out. Tyler Remchuk joins us here on Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Ty, before I let you go, I know you're in Florida. You're watching the Jays online. They're on fire, because I know early on in the season, most of us thought, oh, my God, the Jays are brutal. Well, now all of a sudden they've won 22 of 32, and like everybody's hitting.
Yeah, I mean, you want to have a conversation about maybe one of the best contract decisions, not just in baseball, but potentially all of sports. Alejandro Kirk might be the second best catcher in baseball behind only Cal Raleigh. And the Jays signed him for, what was it, $11 million on a 5-year deal they just inked this offseason. Like, that is unbelievable value. Alejandro Kirk has turned into a clutch hitter, and Addison Barger might be the story of the team. This guy did the little, had to get sent down again this season. It was disappointing. Didn't have a great spring. And then it's happened before. It happened with Lourdes Gurriel the year he was actually an all-star in Toronto. He was brutal early on. They sent him down. He came back, all-star production, and he's continued to be a great player in Arizona. I know they traded him, but Barger's kind of followed that path too. Like, if Barger's a legitimate 4-5 power bat for this team that you can stuff behind Guerrero and it gives them some protection, like, this Jays team might actually be really good. It's giving me shades of 2015 where things are just kind of clicking in the right way. And I mean, now go get, I don't know, who's the David Price this year? Go get Chris Sale and go get a power bat to throw in your outfield, and you're laughing.
Do you think Bichette resigns?
I think Bo Bichette is going to be maybe a little bit surprised at how low his value could be on the open market. I was reading some of the comparisons. Like, he comes with the name cachet, but his production's been so inconsistent. His defense has been so inconsistent as well. I wouldn't be surprised if they did like a 2-3 year deal that had player opt-outs and they go, Bo, come back for another year. And if you struggle, we'll keep you around. We like you. It's a good fit. You fit in with the clubhouse. But if at any year you pop and want to opt out, you can pop and opt out. So I think he could come back on like a shorter term deal.
Really?
I don't think his payday is going to be there, Greg's. Like, I don't know.
I don't argue with you. Like, now, you know, his numbers this year are okay, but like he's still second on the team in home runs on the Jays with 8. Not that they're, you know, they don't like George Springer's leading him. Like Vladdy's, you know, got 8 home runs. Now he could maybe heat up at any point, but yeah, it's kind of interesting to look at his numbers. They're not terrible by any stretch of the imagination. He's probably striking out a little bit more than you would like so far this season. And the Jays are doing this, like their free agent signing Santander's done very little, right? Like he's kind of I think he's hitting like $179 last I looked. Like,
yeah,
he hasn't been very good.
And yeah, he's been on the IL now for a bit. But for Bichette, like if you look at his numbers, I think the best comparable for him would be the Ketel Marte deal in Arizona, where it was like 6 years, $115 million. It was right around $20 million a season. Is Bo going to sit there and say, you know what, I'll lock in for 6 years at that rate? Or again, the compromise of like, take a 3-year deal. We'll give you an opt-out after year 1 or year 2. And if you pop and think you can get that $300 million ticket, go. And for the Jays, it's almost like risk-free at that point. It's like if Bo Bichette pops and you get a great season, awesome. You got a great season out of him. If he doesn't, you just keep your kind of dependable high-floor shortstop for a couple more years. I don't know. I think a short-term deal might work.
Yeah. So, well, the Jays, like, you know what, when the Stanley Cup runs over here, you might have to start paying a little bit more attention to them because they are playing quite well right now. And their manager, a lot of his decisions seem to be working out. They do need another starter, though. That's I think pretty obvious. So, Bowden Francis is, you know what, it's easy to pitch late in the year when your team's not in it because now the teams have a scouting report on him and he's going to have to figure it out. Might have to go back to the minors for a bit.
Yeah, Scherzer's making a rehab start Friday in Buffalo. And speaking of rehab starts and baseball, Edmonton's Eric Sabrowski has made 3 rehab appearances in AA. So I was chatting with Eric a little bit about the Oilers playoff run because he's obviously glued into it. He was down at the rehab facility in Arizona for the Guardians, but he's back to actually pitching now. So I think he might be actually back in the majors by the end of the month.
Wow, it's good for him, man. Because that's a guy we're rooting for. I want to see him back because injuries suck for sure.
Yeah.
Ty, thanks for this, buddy. Have a good one.
I'm going back in the pool, Greg. See ya.
All right. Take it off. Tarp's off. That's Tyler Remchuk, who thankfully had the tarp on for the interview. When we come back, buddy, we will talk about the finals next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Hey, Alberta, the all-new Play Alberta app is here. Casino, sports betting, lottery, all in one app, right on your phone. And because it's Play Alberta, you know it's safe, secure, and reliable. Download it now and play over 500 online casino games, live dealer tables, and unique games you'll love. Plus, bet on sports from anywhere in the province. You in? Download Play Alberta now from your phone's app store and deposit using promo code OIL for a $100 casino bonus on the house. That's promo code OIL for a $100 casino bonus.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need.
Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk, elevate your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Find the perfect tractor for any job at Edmonton Kubota. Their massive selection of compact tractors has something for everyone, whether you're tackling small tasks or big projects. And right now, take advantage of 0% financing for up to 72 months. It's never been easier to get the power and reliability you need. Come down to Edmonton Kubota today and drive away with the tractor that's just right for you. Edmonton Kubota, where your perfect tractor awaits.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
The Discovery Day sales event is on now at Volvo Cars Edmonton. It's your final month to lease a 2025 XC90 plug-in hybrid from 1.49% and save $5,000. Lease or finance a 2025 XC60 plug-in hybrid from 0.49% and save $4,000. Lease or finance a 2025 XC40 from 0.49% and save up to $2,000. Come and discover the deals now at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles, better services. Only at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com.
Day or night, tasting just so right. You can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca, delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle noodle.
Playoff time on Edmonton Sports Leader, Sports 1440. This is Andrew Walker, and join us for the Cross Mitsubishi pregame show before each Edmonton playoff game. Cross Mitsubishi on 34th Ave and 96th Street.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Use promo code Gregor and get 20% off your order all day, every day. That's promo code Gregor before entering your pizza order at papajohns.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.325. Welcome back. Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. Orders Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. As always, presented by our title sponsor, PlayAlberta.ca. And hey, if you are watching on the YouTube, give a thumbs up for the con man today, okay? So it makes his day. He watches it, he sees the number go up. It's like a small little thing, but mentally it really helps him. So go, and even if you're not there, just go there, just hit the thumbs up and leave. Right? That'll make his day. It's great. Now let's get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by the Female Super League, designed to elevate female youth hockey. The FSL provides a platform for U12, U14, and this season, U16 girls. They develop their skills with the PWHL expanding out west. More opportunities. You need more opportunities to develop. FemaleSuperLeague.com. As we go out to Indianapolis, the finals back on. Seems like they never play. 3 days between games all the time. As Eddie White, Pacers post-game host, joins us now. Eddie, welcome to the show, man. How you doing?
It's great to be on. Let me just tell you something. I am pulling for your hockey team like you wouldn't believe. Ever since Gretzky spent a little time in our city, and the trivia question, who's the greatest high school hockey player in Indianapolis history? Well, it's the great one. I'm pulling for the Edmonton to win the whole son of a gun. Let's get the cup back to where it belongs in Canada.
That is a great trivia question, actually. I love it. The greatest high school player to ever play there. That is fantastic. Oh, Awesome. Well, Eddie, hey, there's a Canadian connection in this series. Obviously, you got 2 Canadians on the Pacers. There's 2 on the Thunder. And the one guy, like if you're the Pacers, how can you slow down Gilgeous-Alexander, do you think?
I don't think you can. I mean, he is so good. You know, I think he might be the best player in professional basketball today. He's like a snake. He slithers. I mean, he can slither inside, make the basket, maybe get fouled. He can stay outside, hit the 3, and come up and, hit that 2, which he's so dangerous with that. And he's just, all you do is need to see him be interviewed one time. You're like, man, I like that guy. He doesn't come across as a jerk. He doesn't come across in an arrogant fashion. He's someone that is like, wow, you got to root for something like that. I just don't want him to have any more games this year. I'd like him to go in the toilet for the next couple of games. But then you got our guys, and, where would we be? Nemhard, we were trying to come up with a nickname for him, it's Andrew, but the players call him Drew. So then we come up with Drewcifer, the playoff slayer. And then my guy, Mathurin. Mathurin is – every team has to have a dog in that locker room. Every team has to have a guy who doesn't care. This league is filled with guys who they want to exchange jerseys when the game is over. Mathurin doesn't want your jersey. He'll spit on it. He doesn't care. He's a dog. I love his energy. I love his family. We are so happy to have those 2 guys on our roster.
Yeah, well, I love how you say that. Like, hey, and I understand you want a guy's jersey, but it times it comes a little bit too much for me. I totally agree with you. And you know what? The playoffs are banging now. Halliburton, you want to talk about a dog? Like, there's no better player in the final minute of a game, like in NBA history. The guy's been unbelievable. And that whole Pacer team, it doesn't matter. They're down 20 points. Fans are like, oh, that's okay. We'll come back, because they've done it repeatedly in this postseason. I saw some reports, Eddie, people wondering if maybe he's nicked up. What do you make of that?
Well, he said he is. He said he got a thing going on. But as Rick Carlisle said, both of these teams have played 100 games. And all you do is get to look at the court and see how hard that wood is and what's below it and the strain on the muscles and running up and down for, we started playing when it was cold or warm outside. Then we played through all the cold months. Now it's the middle of June. We're still playing. Everybody is banged up somehow, but he'll be ready to go tonight. And we really do need him to play better, because when he plays well, our team gets lifted with him. And, nobody thought we'd beat the Milwaukee. They had Antetokounmpo, and in Cleveland, they had an injury, but still, they're Cleveland. I mean, they're the best record in the East, and then you ain't going to beat the Knicks. If I hear one more time from those idiots at ESPN how great the Knickerbockers are, we can't beat them. Well, we beat them. And now here we are. We have not played well in these 2 games, and we're 1-1. Usually when you don't play well in 2 games, you're 0-2. So I look at that as a positive. And the one thing is, we have not had 3 consecutive bad games. We've had 3 consecutive losses where we lost in the last second shot but played well. So I expect the Pacers at home tonight. Everybody be wearing the gold T-shirts. I expect the Pacers to get a W tonight. And I've been in this business too long, 40 years. I don't worry about 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 or whatever. It's all about one game right now. We have one game left in the season, and that's tonight.
Eddie White joined us, longtime Pacers game host. And Eddie, if you look at the matchups, and so you say you didn't like how they played in the first, what was lacking in the areas specific that you feel they can play better tonight?
I think it was pace, and we hear that word a lot. There's a lot of words that you hear over and over again, and sometimes you're sick of them, but it's still the perfect word to use. I think it's pace. I think in our victories this year, like our average pace to getting the shot off, the first shot, is 4 to 6 seconds into the possession. That's like unheard of. Well, the game the other night, it was 19. I mean, that's not the basketball that we play. We cannot, walk the ball up the court, and that's not the way we're built. We don't have the offensive firepower to play that game. We are very deep. I mean, we bring in Obi Toppin and Mathurin and T.J. McConnell and Jarris Walker and everybody else. It's not much of a slack off. It's like these guys are going to keep running until they get tired and bring the starters back in. It's about pace tonight. Here we are. We're only a few miles away from the Indianapolis 500. So we have to have the pace that they had at the 500 this year. We got to bring that tonight. If we don't, we're going to lose this ball game. But if we do and we play well, and we hit our first couple threes, the crowd's gonna be electric, and I think the Pacers can get the job done.
Can you describe, basketball in Indiana? Like, some people maybe certain have watched Hoosiers, and I think it's pretty, big reflection. Like, basketball in Indiana is kind of like hockey in Edmonton, right? Like it's someone from the outside, they joke, maybe it's a cult almost. It's like a religion. Just, what this means to basketball fans in that market. Can you explain it? Is it more intimate than even football?
No, it is. I think you just explained it yourself. That is a perfect comparison. There's a doctor here in town who's Canadian who just brought in a bunch of guys for the race that he played hockey with when he was 7, 8, 9 years old. If they're down like 20 guys left, and they get together and they do events, whatever, and it's just this brotherhood. And I'm like, how old were you? 7, 8, 9. It's a religion there, and I'm from Pennsylvania, but I've lived now more than half my life here. You easily feel it, and it's not just the Pacers at the elite level, or we have the Fever, the WNBA, but it's like it's in the colleges. I mean, Indiana University. Everybody knows Bobby Knight. The women's Purdue and Notre Dame's women's team have won national championship. There's Division and Division 2 and 3 colleges in the state that have won championships, and then there's the high school. Remember, not that long ago, Damon Bailey played a high school state championship game here, high school, at the old RCA Dome that drew 40,000 people.
Yeah.
And, Hoosiers came from a true story, and basketball is nuts. I mean, I joke, I'm from Pennsylvania, like we go to high school, then we go to college. Here in Indiana, you run into somebody and go, hey, I remember the 1961 sectional. We beat Jeffersonville. Spider Jones went for 31. Unbelievable. I mean, it's unbelievable. It is a cult. It is a religion, just like hockey at Edmonton. And there's nothing wrong with that. I love it. I love it that people have a passion for it, and our high school's games draw a lot of people. The colleges draw a lot of people. Of course, the Fever, the Pacers draw a lot of people. And they have a saying, it's on T-shirts, bumper stickers. It drives me crazy, but it's true. In 49 states, it's just basketball, but this is Indiana.
Oh, I totally get it. So looking at it tonight, give me your thoughts on Pascal Siakam and what he's meant to the Pacers since coming over there.
There's two guys who I think get a lot of credit in our success the last two seasons of us getting to the Eastern Conference Finals last year and the NBA Finals this year. It's two guys who have the experience that they know it's a long journey. You got to win 16 games. It's not a Super Bowl where you win one. It's 16 games. It's a marathon. And you got to have an even keel with it. And both of those guys have rings. The one is our head coach, Rick Carlisle, who's been there, done that. He knows how to push the buttons. He knows when to pull back. And the other, because players a lot of times will only listen to players. The coach can be great, but sometimes, especially when the tough times hit, they listen to their brothers. And they have a brother named Pascal who has that ring, and he's humble, he's tough, he brings enthusiasm, he's likable, he's lovable, he's smart, he's everything you'd want in your neighbor. You'd love to have him living next door to you to help you shovel the driveway or to cut the grass or if your electricity went out. He's that type of guy. And in our locker room, he is the adult. He is the adult that tells people where they're going to sit for dinner, what they're going to do, what time we're getting up in the morning, what we're having for breakfast. Those two guys, Coach Carlisle and Pascal, are the two pillars who have put the Pacers in a position right now. It sounds so unbelievable that we are 3 wins away from having our first world championship in the NBA.
Eddie White joins us. Eddie, I want to jump over to the Fever because obviously, Caitlin Clark comes in and we've seen all the numbers in the WNBA. She's been a phenom for them in that community. How's her season gone this year?
Well, she got hurt. She hasn't played in a while. She was banged up early. And, every day she goes in and gets tested. She's been practicing a little bit. I expect her to come back soon. We're just a different team with her. I mean, I remember watching her at Iowa when we had the sense that if she chose to come out, we had the first pick that we'd take her. And then when she announced, yes, I'm coming out, then I knew we were going to take her. I really started watching this lady. And then last year, working with her a little bit and being around her, she's Elvis. I put it that way. In the music, we had the Eagles. We had the Beatles, we had the Jackson 5. There was only one Elvis. She's Elvis. She's Tiger Woods. She's Gretzky. I mean, there's certain people come along and they're like, yeah, for whatever reason, you do that better than anybody else who's ever done it. And she's a remarkable leader. She's tough as nails. great player, great person, and I think when she gets healthy, they'll make it again. But she can't go anywhere. And I saw something. You guys are getting the scoop. I saw something this afternoon which blew me away, and I was giving her crap about it. She wanted to go down. Her practice was over. She wanted to go down to our home court gift shop and get a Pacers T-shirt to wear the game tonight. And she kind of walked towards it and saw that there's this humongous line to get in because people have flown in from all over. It's nuts. The shop itself is full. And she goes, I don't think I'm getting in there. And she goes, I can't get in. And people started coming up there like outside and taking pictures. And then finally I said, now that when Caitlin Clark can't get in our home court gift shop to buy a T-shirt, that tells you the place is packed and she can't go anywhere. I mean, friends of mine who are in their 80s want to meet her. People who are in their 5 years old want to meet her, get a picture with her. People who've never followed women's basketball want to watch the Fever because of her. And I just think we need to enjoy it like we enjoyed the great one and like we enjoyed, picks up Muhammad Ali, Tiger Woods. Just sit back and enjoy their greatness because it may be a long time before we see somebody, come along like that. I mean, I don't care what Ovechkin did. I still think Wayne Gretzky's the greatest. He is the great one. The hell with it. He's the guy. And I think Caitlin Clark right now is the person in women's basketball. And hell, she's the most popular female athlete in North America and maybe in the world. I mean, the Fever have gotten orders just this year from all 50 states and like 50 countries, people ordering Fever stuff.
Wow. Well, no, she's a big name. There's no doubt about it. And having her back would be fantastic. And, you can't get lucky, Eddie. You look at the orders, they had Gretzky. Now they got that McDavid kid. So sometimes fans get lucky twice. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah,
but,
let's get a couple more wins in the cup.
They do need a win there, Eddie.
Let's get one down in Florida. Yeah. Win one down in Fort Lauderdale. I mean, what are they playing? Davie, Fort Lauderdale? They're out in the suburbs. They're not even they're an hour away from Miami.
Eddie, I love your passion, buddy. I love it. You'll be back on the show. Enjoy the game tonight, and we'll talk to you again soon.
You got it. Go Oilers, baby!
Eddie White, are you kidding me? Unbelievable. He's been doing it for 40 years. That guy's got more passion than most of us combined. Unreal energy from the E-Man. Oh, that's fantastic. We'll take a quick break. We'll return. It's the Jason Gregor Show, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. Orders Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram.
Tire. We're all about one thing, taking care of your vehicle. Oh, and your wallet. I guess that's two things. Save up to 20% off select tires until June 14th. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together.
Adventure just doesn't stumble into your life. It roars to life with Riverside Motorsports. Tearing up trails or cruising the open road. Yamaha ATVs, side-by-sides, motorcycles, and dirt bikes deliver the performance you crave. Built for thrills, ready for your next adventure. Yamaha's legendary performance and reliability take you there. Make Mother Nature your playground on a Yamaha from Riverside Motorsports. Located on St. Albert Trail. RideRiverside.com. Riverside Motorsports. What you do for fun is our business.
At Fitted Golf, we know that you continue to believe.
It's not my clubs. Really, it's my swing.
Except it's already June, and you're still not playing the game you want because you continue to insist it's not your clubs. Except it really is your clubs, and we prove it every day. Fitted Golf customers continue to be amazed at how good they actually are when they use the right clubs for their swing. Why would you play the game you love but not love the way you play it? From beginners to pros, Fitted Golf makes all the difference. Visit fittedgolf.ca.
Work hard, get dirty, build better communities. If that sounds like a good day's work to you, GS Construction wants you to be part of their team. Right now, GS Construction is looking to hire experienced top men and pipe layers for underground sewer and water work. So if you know your way around a trench, take pride in doing the job right, and want to be part of a crew that has your back, let's get to work together. Apply now at gsconstruction.ca.
Actions speak louder than words. Japa Machinery Group puts your construction plan into action with XCMG construction machinery you need. Available for rental or sale. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
This is a slam dunk. Dive into Edmonton's vibrant basketball scene with exclusive interviews and expert analysis. I'm Paul Sir, and I host The Basketball Show every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports 1440.
Hold on to your hockey helmet, Edmonton. On the Rocks is serving up 60-cent wings that fly off the plate faster than a slap shot. And Molson Canadians for $5.25. OTR's TVs, hey, they're so clear you'll see the puck better than the ref. That ain't hard, is it? And every game night during Edmonton's playoff run, specials start 30 minutes before puck drop and last for the whole game. Be a part of the legend. See the menu at ontherocksyeg.com.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Jumpstart your summer with Wendy's delicious drinks. Enjoy a small iced coffee, frosty chino, or frosty fizz for only $1.99. But hurry, get your $1.99 small drink at participating Wendy's, only available until June 29th. Taxes extra.
It's happened again, and construction season is in full swing. Job delayed, money lost, and clients disappointed because your rigging failed and it wasn't inspected. Don't let this happen to you. Have your lifting slings, fittings, hoisting tools, and safety harnesses checked with Titan Supply. Titan Supply offers certified on-site and in-house rigging inspections and service, so they can repair it, replace it, and recertify it. Titan Supply in Edmonton, Grand Prairie, Red Deer, and Calgary, and at titansupply.ca. Lift, dig, haul.
Triple Creek Golf Club is a great course for beginners, offering a welcoming environment for all ages and skill levels. Teach the next generation to golf and create lasting memories at TCGC. Book a tee time at triplecreekgolfclub.ca.
If you've got a smart speaker, get it to play Sports 1440.
And it doesn't matter when you listen as we roll out the Sports Talk
24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Edmonton's home for sports radio is Sports 1440.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. The team in Old Strathcona have special training dedicated to reducing the impact of cancer care before, during, and after your diagnosis. From lymphedema to the management of fatigue and side effects of chemotherapy and radiation, they can help. Learn more at leadingedgephysio.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$347. A lot of text line in 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Fellas, great interview. You got to get Eddie back on more often. Fired up. Oh, 100%. I love it. Hey, guys, Gretzky and Muhammad Ali settled down, buddy. He's already drinking from Triple C. Well, here's the thing. Caitlin Clark has transformed a sport. She sold more Clark jerseys than everybody in the NBA except Steph Curry. She's transformed the whole sport. They sell more merchandise than most NBA, lots of NHL, lots of other teams. That's just a fact. Now, you don't want to like it. Okay. That's okay, but it doesn't mean you're right. It's wrong. She has changed. They're now flying because she makes the league way more money. That's just the truth. Right? And I don't see why people have to post, well, she's not as good as a basketball player. She's not a man. Of course. That doesn't discount her. I guarantee you should take you and 95% of men and run them into the ground. It wouldn't be close. That's just the truth. Of course, the best female head-to-head isn't going to be as good as the best male. That's just a fact. That's simple genetics. But that doesn't discount that she has transformed a sport and given women's basketball a massive platform. Massive. Okay. So if we're talking changing the sport, she has indeed on the level. Gretzky went to LA, and that started the expansion into the United States. Look at the WNBA before Caitlin Clark and look at it now. The numbers don't lie, right? And it's across the entire league. Now, we could talk about things. If you want to get upset about things, let's talk about the farce that is Angel Reese. I'm sorry. She won the best athlete at the BET Awards. Like, what? Give me a break. Like, it's not even close. There's infinitely more. We could go Richardson. I could go down the list. Simone Biles, but there's videos on her. I'm sorry, she can't shoot. Right? She can't. She rebounds because she gets a lot of her own rebounds off of missed shots. Like, it's just, I'm sorry. Yeah, she leads the league in rebounds, but I would love someone to find the stat on rebounds she gets that aren't from her shots. That's all. But people trying to put her in the category of Caitlin Clark, it's like people trying to say Austin Matthews is on the same level as Connor McDavid. It is cool. And Austin Matthews is pretty good, but he ain't McDavid, right? He ain't McDavid. Reese isn't. She doesn't even have the. She doesn't have the offense of Clark at all. She's a rebounder, but unfortunately, a lot of her own rebounds. That's the problem. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey, guys, if you're McDavid and Dry Settle, if you're Knobloch with McDavid and Dry Settle, would you keep them apart or separate next game? Me, I would try to keep them separate as long as possible because, that's going to mean two things. A, it means the Oilers aren't chasing the game. They've been behind the majority of this series. They've only led for a grand total of 27 of the 227 minutes, which equates to 11.9%. Right? That's the major reason why he's got to put them together, because he's trailing. He's like, okay, because, hey, when they're together, they give you your best chance to score. We know that. So I understand it. You want to play them after a few penalty kills? Great. Totally get it. But the Oilers need to start better so you don't have to go to them earlier in games, because I actually think it hurts you long term. Short term, trailing, okay. But when you got to go to it early in the second period, no thanks. I would like to keep them apart. Especially because then one of them is going to get Barkov. Because if you put them both in the same line, Barkov and Reinhart are good enough. They won't generate anything, but they can do a decent job of shutting them down or limiting them. You don't really ever shut them down, but limiting them. Especially in Florida, right? The numbers don't lie. McDavid has points in one of the 5 Florida games in the Stanley Cup final last year and this year. Now, the one game, he was great. He had 4 points. But in the other 4 games, he has none. So you'd like him to be able to get a few more points in Florida. And I think when you load up him and Dry Settle, I don't think it benefits the Oilers. I would try to keep them apart as long as I can. And I believe that when they are, that means the Oilers are playing better. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey, Greggs, I know you mentioned the minute they signed him that you thought Frederick would sign and that would make the trade. It looks like you're going to be right. My question is then, what do you think he's going to get as an AAV? That one comes in our email, gregor@sports1440.ca from Bud. It's a good question. Is AAV. Now, if it's a 2-year deal, I think the AAV is going to be a little bit lower. So maybe 2.75, maybe like 2.9. If it's a 3-year deal, then it's going to be higher just because, you know what? He's thinking, hey, in 2 years, where's the cap going to be? I could probably get more. So if it's a 2-year deal, then it's going to be above. A 3-year deal, I think it's above 3. So that's kind of how, if they can get Frederick on a 2-year, like that is a fascinating contract to me. So, and I don't mind it if I'm Trent Frederick. And I kind of don't mind if I'm the Edmonton Oilers because I got 2 years, see what happens. Right. By then, Hyman's a little bit older, near the end of his contract. Kane's contract's done if he's not, So by then, maybe you can look and say, hey, if Frederick's playing well, then we pay him more. Like I thought it would be a 3-year deal. And if he wants to do a 2-year deal, so you know me, I'm Mr. Term. And if a guy plays unreal and you got to pay him because he's playing unreal, great. But Trent Frederick has never put up huge numbers. He's put up decent numbers. Now, he's also never played with McDavid and Dry Settle. So that's the risk there. There is a risk involved for sure. But I don't mind that if he actually gets a 2-year deal. Because I think you probably have a little bit lower of an AAV on a 2-year deal as you would on a 3-year deal. Hey guys, how much of the Oilers missing a legitimate right-hand center? Well, let's go back and look at look at Adam Henrique on his offside, how good he was in the face-off circle, penalty kill. What did he win his first 7 draws? Right, that's what kept the penalty kill alive early. Now they did score a power play goal late, but on those first 3 penalty kills, man, he was unreal on the face-off. So I guess it depends. Do we feel it's hurting them in the offensive zone? Because maybe. And yes, I would like a right shot center, but not just a right shot center for having a right shot center. If it's a right shot center that's going to be better than Henrique in the faceoff dot, then yeah, I could see it hurting them. But I don't know if once the flow of the game is on, if it's really that impactful. Ideally, yes, you would like it because Janmark's not a natural center. I think that's obvious. He doesn't take a lot of faceoffs. So now will Noah Philp be your 4th line right shot center next year, like a bottom 6 guy who can kill penalties? Maybe he'll get a look. There's no question he'll get a look. And if I'm Edmonton, I don't know if I would I sign a veteran rather than give Philp the opportunity? I might give Philp the opportunity. And then you know what? 40, 50 games into the year, if it's not working, you can go and you can acquire, a veteran right shot center to play in your 4th line. That would probably be my approach to next season. If Philp comes into camp and isn't ready, I can always play Matthias Janmark there in the regular season. Has Janmark made a lot of mistakes defensively playing center here in the cup final or even in the playoffs? None that really jumped to mind. So I'd have no problem doing it. Guys, how much do you think they missed Hyman? I'm reading 2 emails at once here. The next one was Kim says, let Bennett be the new Clarkson, go to Toronto. Oh, geez, that was a bad signing. I do think Bennett's a lot better than David Clarkson, just for the record. But I will say, if he gets overpaid that much, there'll be some regret by whichever team signs him. I think if his contract starts in the 7s, I think you're fine. Gets above that, I think it's going to be really difficult to get fair value in return. Because then you've got to be a team that you for sure get into the playoffs. And just because you're scoring with Florida in the playoffs doesn't mean you're going to score with another team. It's not always that easy that, like Mitch Marner, everyone, look at all his assists. Okay, but what if Mitch Marner doesn't have a Matthews as a shooter? Because trust me, he does make some assists a little bit easier, right? It's no different than Bouchard, right? Like Bouchard gets some assists in Edmonton that you might not get in other places. It's just a fact. And that's not a knock. He still makes lots of great plays, but it does help. Just like it helps McCarr with Nathan McKinnon. And when he had Rantanen, it helps. For sure it does. So, is Marner's assist totals, if he goes to another team that doesn't have a sniper, that'll impact him for sure. As for Hyman, oh yeah, they miss him. I think where they miss him, as at Outline, I got the numbers because I asked them from Clearsight Analytics. 2 layered screens so far in 3 games. And the Oilers have scored 1 goal on 2. Now, they're not a team that naturally does layered screens. So it's not like if Hyman was in, they'd have quadruple the amount. But Hyman is really good because it's a skill and it's hard. You can't just say, okay, Hyman's out. Can someone else just become a good net front presence? 5-on-5? It's not that easy. Evander Kane's never, he's not great at deflections, right? That's not really his game. He's more going to the net. He's not necessarily scoring around the net, if that makes any sense. Perry's, better at that, but he was already on the team. So he doesn't really replace Hyman. I know they were splitting some time on the power play, so that's fine. And he's been great on the power play. He scored the goal. But I do think they miss, and they miss Hyman's relentlessness. There's no question in my mind. And it happened on such a freak play for Hyman and the Oilers. That's what's probably really disappointing for him, for sure. Coming up in the final 2 hours of the show, Ted Nolan. We'll talk coaching, battling. He was just inducted into the Canadian Sports Hall of Fame. He's doing a ton of work in the indigenous community, so we'll talk to Ted about that. We got Tater and the 2-minute warning. We got Marty McSorley coming up. We'll get into the gamesmanship factor. And should Edmonton, I don't think Edmonton's great when they get sucked too deep. I thought in Game 3 they got into the vortex of the Panthers, and the vortex of just after the whistle scrums. I think they got caught up in that too much. But I'll ask Marty. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll see what Marty thinks about that and more on the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Oh, I got to read that. Let's get to the con man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. Stop in right now, Fountain Tire, and guess what? Tires, brakes, fluids, they'll check it all to get you on the road, fountaintire.com.
Thank you, Jason. Cale Makar has won the Norris Trophy for the second time, also winning in 2022. He received 176 first-place votes from 191 votes cast. The 26-year-old from Calgary has been nominated for the award 5 times in his first 6 years in the league. It is Game 3 tonight of the NBA Finals, with the Pacers hosting the Thunder. Tip-off 6:30. That series tied at a game apiece. Major League Baseball earlier today, some finals rolling in. Jays victorious over the Cards, winning 5-2. The Guardians beat up on the Reds 11-2. Cubbies fall to the Phillies 7-2. And Pirates over the Marlins 5-2. Right now, you've got the Angels on top of the Athletics 6-3 in the bottom of the 6th. And in the 7th, Dodgers have a 4-2 lead over the Padres. Tonight in the WNBA, it's Commissioner's Cup. Aces, Sparks, Wings, Mercury, and the Storm taking on the Lynx. All those games get going at 8 o'clock. And the Edmonton Riverhawks back on the road once again tonight in Kelowna, taking on the Falcons. First pitch set for 7:35 p.m. Mountain Time. Coming up in Hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by longtime NHL head coach Ted Nolan, and we'll ask 5 questions. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray Radio Station. CHJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
The Discovery Day sales event is on now at Volvo Cars Edmonton. It's your final month to lease a 2025 XC90 plug-in hybrid from 1.49% and save $5,000. Lease or finance a 2025 XC60 plug-in hybrid from 0.49% and save $4,000. Lease or finance a 2025 XC40 from 0.49% and save up to $2,000. Come and discover the deals now at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles, better services. Only at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com.
Oodle Noodle origins.
In 1864, Francis Oodle took over his dying father's business as a leatherman. He was quite proficient, but his heart was never truly in the trade. After his father's death, Oodle met a cocksure young man named Vladimir Nudel, who was a trailblazer in the popular new art of food boxes. They formed a partnership and aimed to ply their trade in the New World. At Ellis Island, Nudel was renamed David Noodle, and henceforth, the franchise has been known as
Oodle Noodle.
Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
It's been a long 35 years since we last hoisted the cup. Sports 1440 has the finals covered with Carius, Low Tide, Gregor. And be sure to check out the pre- and post-game shows with Andrew Walker. Sports 1440 is Edmonton's sports leader.
The Summer Drive event is on now at Buick. Right now, get 0% financing for up to 60 months on the 2025 Buick Envision. Make your presence known with available 20-inch alloy wheels with pearl nickel finish. Showcase your style with available quilted, perforated front leather-appointed seats.
Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 14.
Early on, but both McDavid and Dry Settle.
Get behind the wheel of your Buick Envision today. Ask your Buick dealer for details.
Sports 14.
I'm Rick Showers from No Bull RV.
I guess that's
Did
your
you wake
wallet.
up this morning and think, I want to be a
Fountain.
used RV salesman? If you're like most people,
A lot of
the
text
answer
line in
is
8334
no. But if you want to sell your quality used RV
presented by
yourself, then a used RV salesman is what you are.
Welcome to your new job.
That's right, Bob. Put it up on all the best websites. Wait for the phone to ring and be ready day or night, weekday or weekend. Drive out to the storage lot for every random tire kicker who calls and hope that what you have is exactly what they want.
There's an easier way to do this, Rick.
That's right, Bob. You could bring it to No Bull RV. We love selling used RVs, and the customers are already here. Commercials like this, bring them in by the hundreds. All you need to do is cash the check when it leaves our lot. Used RV salesman is not what you wanted to be when you woke up this morning. And if it was, well, I think you better come out here and apply for a job.
And that's No Bull. NoBullRV.ca.
If you bleed orange and blue and you're not using the all-new Play Alberta Sports and Casino app, then you're missing out. It's the only online sportsbook with odds boosts on all Oilers games. And now, it's not just sports. Play the slots, hit the tables, buy lottery tickets, all in one app, all across Alberta. Download Play Alberta now from your phone's app store and use promo code GOAL for a $100 bonus. That's promo code GOAL!
McDonald's sundaes and snack-sized shakes are $2, or get $1 cones exclusively on the McDonald's app. With those prices, your hands are going to be full of treats. Like Alex here. My phone. I got you. App download and registration required. At participating McDonald's in Canada. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. Watch every Oilers game at OTR with $5.25 Molson Canadian, $5 Frank Whitney shots, and 60-cent wings. Plus, play Oilers Score and Win for your chance to win On the Rocks gift cards. Oilers Hockey at OTR. Book your table today. Jasper Ave and 118th.
The Jason Gregor Show. The best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 4 o'clock on a lovely Wednesday afternoon. A little smoky out there, but good news. It's supposed to clear up later on this evening. It is the Gregor Show presented by title sponsor PlayAlberta.ca, where you, of course, it's your one-stop shop. Whether it's sports, lotteries, casino, get the all-new app. Download it today. You can spin the slots at the tables, purchase lottery tickets, all in one place at PlayAlberta.ca. And, of course, Lotto 649 tonight, $28 million. Good luck. PlayAlberta.ca. We are now going to go in the room, brought to you by Action Electrical. Take action on your savings right now at actionelectrical.com. As we are joined by former NHL head coach of the year, who was just inducted into the Canadian Sports Hall of Fame. Ted Nolan joins us once again. Ted, welcome back to the show, man. How you doing?
Very good, very good. Thank you very much for having me on.
Well, Ted, congratulations. Pretty big honor. Where were you when you found out? How surprised were you?
I was very, very surprised. And you receive some honors in life, but this one here with the being in the Canadian Sports Hall of Fame is, this is dealing with sport in general, not hockey, not baseball, not basketball, but sport in general. So it's a great honor, and even doubling the honor is going in with my cousin and a fellow First Nation guy from the same reserve in Garden River, Darren Zach. So it's amazing.
Well, Ted, you have really made it a point, and we've had you on the show before. We talked about your book and how you grew up, and obviously it was in poverty at times, and you've really made it being a point of your life that you wanted to give back to the indigenous community and help out others. And I think that's not only your achievements as a hockey coach, but your willingness to want to give back and help the community to help others, so maybe they can have the same opportunities as you. And that seems to be the thing that, is it safe to say maybe you get more joy doing that than you do even coaching? And you love coaching.
I love coaching, and like I said, when I went through the whole system, and people telling me my whole life that I wasn't good enough to play AAA or AA, and I personally, I didn't believe them. I thought I was, and I just kept working. And the only thing that people need is an opportunity sometimes. And sometimes if you're not born in the right situation or in the city and grow up with certain people, you're not going to get that opportunity. So you just got to work a little bit harder. And I just refused to accept that I wasn't good enough.
But it's hard though, right? Because I'm sure you saw people that you lived with in your community that sometimes, they do give up and they kind of accept that, I'm not going to push forth, because it is way harder, right? Like, I'm sure there are even times when you were young and you had, you probably had doubts of, geez, maybe I'm going to give up, but you never did. How do you, when you go and talk to young kids or even adults to kind of instill that belief and will Because it's got to be pretty hard.
Oh, it's extremely hard. Growing up and seeing a lot of people before me go and attempt to try, and they're just for whatever reason mentally it's exhausting. And when you get picked on, you get abused and bullied. It's extremely hard, and there's no one there to really help you out, except when you go back to reserve. You got lots of family and friends. So I just really, when I played in the first game, I played against the Chicago Blackhawks, my first NHL game. I remember going outside before the game started. I laid some tobacco and to say thanks for getting me to where I got to. But it wasn't for me personally. It was for all the people before me who didn't have that final push to say, screw you, I'm going to stay no matter what. They just went back home, and so I just refused to.
Well, and that obviously, where do you think that determination came from, Ted? Like, because you have siblings, and I you know what, I have siblings. Not everybody has the exact same, mental toughness on certain situations. Where did that toughness / stubbornness come from?
I think growing up where I grew up, I had 6 brothers and 5 sisters, and growing up in, not the best of times, but I remember my father. I lost my father when I was only 16 years of age, 15 years of age, and he always told me when I was a kid to work with what I had. Don't wish for things you haven't got. I like to buy you a pair of skates, but your skates are 3 sizes too big. Make them fit somehow. Make them work. So, and I always remember him said, Ted, if you want to be the best, you don't have to have the best. The only thing you have to do is give your best. So I just followed those words the rest of my life, and I really didn't care about what kind of skates I had or what kind of stick I had. I just worked with what I had.
What do you think your dad would say, knowing his son is in the Canadian Sports Hall of Fame?
I probably wouldn't be here, to tell you the truth, because if he would have lived and I went to the first year away from home and the abuse that I endured, not going to school because of getting bullied at school and at the hockey rink and fighting and what have you, that first year was just terrible. And I knew who's going to let their son go through anything like that. So if my father was alive, he probably would have brought me home, because there's a little bit more important things in life than getting through that. So, but I'm quite sure he's looking down and very proud that I persevered through it.
Yeah, I love how you say that, honestly, because you know what? Now, your dad maybe would have brought you home. Why did your mom, like when you told your mom about it, did she just say, no, you got to, or did you hide it from your mom?
Oh, I didn't say a word to my mom. I told her that everything was going good. I got making new friends. The school is wonderful. The guys on the team are just great. And I even my wife now, we just celebrated our 45th wedding anniversary. And the story I told her, even growing up, was a complete different story when I wrote my book, Life in Two Worlds, where I kind of opened up. I went away, I pretended it was like going to Walt Disney World, but it really, in real life, it wasn't. And I just really, my father just passed away. Times were lean at home, and the worst thing they could have heard was some more tragic news from their son playing, 18 hours away from home. So I wanted to make it sound like I was having a good time.
Ted Nolan joined us. Ted, to give our listeners, can you give us, a little bit of an insight as to what you had to endure that first year?
I never fought in hockey growing up. I thought I was going to grow up to be the next Bobby Orr, Bobby Hall. And I just loved to play. And then when I went to Kenora, I had this fight to survive. I mean, in that year, I was 16 years of age, and it kind of went from loving the game to just kind of switch the whole thing and try to survive in the game. And even to this day, I can't remember much of the season except for the articles and the clippings that people showed me later on that I did win Rookie of the Year on the team. I scored 28 goals. But to tell you the truth, I don't remember my first goal. I don't remember the 28th goal. I think I just put my mind, we always talk about mental health.
Right.
And going through that as a 16-year-old kid and not really having anybody around to talk about it, or even the coach to identify it, was extremely hard. But the one thing I told myself going through, I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to quit. I'm going to stick this out, and I did. And like I said, and I wrote a letter home to my brother, and because he's seen it, and he came up to visit me, and they tried to bring me home. Right. And I said, Steve, if I quit now, the next tough situation in my life, I'll probably quit that too. So I think we're all creatures of habit, and I just want to create a good habit of persevering through certain difficulties. And then I'm at the age now that I could talk to the young kids about certain things. About I wouldn't endorse going through what I went through, but now times are changing, and education is the key.
Ted Nolan joins us. And for context for everybody, we're talking like mid-70s, 75, 76. Now, when you went to the Sioux Greyhounds, was it better?
It was better. It was a lot better because I lived at, I was back in my home community. They didn't let me live on a reserve. They put me inside the city until me and my roommate at the time was another Ojibwe kid. Donnie Roach was his name. Unfortunately, he passed away, but him and I got put into the city. We only lasted in the house for maybe about a month because we both had pellet guns and BB guns. And one morning we woke up and there's two beautiful partridge sitting in the trees outside of our basement window. So we opened up the door or window. I said, "You take the one on the left, and I'll take the one on the right." And sure enough, we got him. And it was amazing because at the same time, our landlady was upstairs taking pictures, and she was a bird lover.
Oh,
and that didn't. And birds went on the snow, and it wasn't happy. I still remember it. I wouldn't feed you caca with sugar on it. Get out. So we got kicked out, but we took the two partridge home to my home reserve. We had a good meal. But it was so much better because I was home surrounded by family.
Ted Nolan joins us. So, Ted, you go into and I want to get your assessment, of course, as a coach, right? You obviously, had a very successful career as an NHL coach, winning Coach of the Year. You won championships in the OHL. You won a championship in the Quebec Major Junior League as well. You're a coach, and I don't know if you watch the Stanley Cup Finals or not, but Game 3, right from the get-go, the Oilers kind of got off on the wrong foot, and they never really got back on the right skate, shall we say. How would you approach that? Like, I'm sure you've played, you've won championships, your teams are in there. There's lots of stress at times. What would be the message when your team just kind of gets unraveled like that? It doesn't happen very often to the Oilers, but to me, they looked unraveled. They were out of sort. They got guys in scrums who normally aren't in scrums. What would be the message of the coach, the few days after that leading up to Game 4?
Well, when it happens at this late, the finals, in the league championship, I don't care what league championship you go on, and that's why they have a regular season. You go through ups and downs, you go through certain things, and you learn how to handle it, and you learn how to get through it. Because this game is not only a physical game, but it's a deeply emotional game and mental game.
Mm-hmm.
If you let the opposition get inside your head, and all of a sudden you're retaliating and walking around like you're King Kong and been toughest guy in the world, and you're sticking people, and that has nothing to do with the winning. The best way to get the opposition is to score one more goal in the opposition. That gets them more mad than retaliation and all that stuff. So it's easier said than done. But I think once you really focus on what your main objective is winning that game. I don't care if you lose 6-1 or 10-1, you still lost. The point of the matter is you've got to get back on that horse, and that's what I said about perseverance. You got to persevere through the next one, find out why you lost the game before, and refocus and re-energize yourself, and look at the talent you have in your team, and let the horses run, and just be a little bit more controlled.
When you coach, Ted, did you incorporate kind of a little bit of the spiritual side of players? Did you talk to your players about that? And kind of, you just mentioned, hey, like this game, as much as it is about, skates and sticks and everything, like there's so much between your ears. And how would you tap into that, as whether it was junior players or NHL players?
Well, you know what? It took me a long time to realize, because people kept asking me, what is my coaching philosophy? And I didn't go to coaching clinics. I didn't go through the traditional route of getting to the National Hockey League. I just kind of coached the way I got raised. I got raised in a family of 12, and I used to tell everybody of my friends who would listen, so I'm the spoiled one of the group. My parents loved me the most. And then I heard my sister say it, and I heard my brother say it, and in fact we all said it. So I kind of brought that into the realm, and people ask me, what is the coaching philosophy? And I guess the for a simple answer is I try to coach the human spirit. Not so much the talent, the Connor McDavids of the world. They're gonna do their thing, and Drysdale, they're gonna do their thing. But the spirit inside the individual, and how to take certain things and regroup yourself, and to really focus on what you're gonna do, because that's the ultimate goal, is to win a championship. And so, like I said, it's a very, very mental game. So working on the mental aspect of the game throughout the course of a season is where the work is put in, and then you get to do it come playoff time.
Ted Nolan joins. Now, Ted, you talk about that spiritual thing in the indigenous community. That's a major part of your community. But for lots of other hockey players, it probably wasn't. Was it a pushback, or did you notice that once players maybe kind of understood that part of it, that it was better? Was there a challenge for some guys to maybe kind of see it in that realm?
Well, everybody has. I always believe that people didn't have bad games because they wanted to have bad games. There's something that happened in their life maybe they had an argument with their brother or sister before the game started. Something threw them off. So getting to know the human spirit is so important, so you could deal with those type of things. But I brought First Nations spirituality into my coaching realm. When I was coaching Buffalo Sabres, I brought a medicine man right into our dressing room. I talked to the team first to make sure it was okay, because you don't want to spring it on him. But he came in, he did ceremony. Like I of all the things I did in professional sport, bringing a medicine man inside of our room, and we didn't broadcast it. Like, you have to tell the world what you did. We just brought him in, snuck him in when we were in Detroit, playing the Red Wings that night. And the funny thing, one of the players didn't score like 10 games and whatever, and asked the medicine man if he could put something on his hockey stick to help him score a goal. And sure enough, the medicine man sprinkled a little tobacco on the stick, and lo and behold, he scored a goal that night. And then he asked me about it, and all of a sudden,
I was just going to say all the time, or, hey, Ted, you got to carry tobacco around now.
And then all the players asked me. So it was just one of those rallying points. And I think we won 16 of our next 18 games. I think it's so much mental capacity in this game. Whether somebody goes to the game for the very first time in their life and they see a McDavid play, they can tell he's a good player. Yeah. That's no question, you can tell. But what's inside of an individual and what makes them tick and how they tick together is probably the most important thing. If you watch the Florida Panthers, what they did last year and what they're continuing to do this year, it just seems like they're all on the same page, doing the same thing. So Edmonton just got to do that and upset them and bring the cup back to Canada.
Well, Ted, congratulations. Give me a little insight. What are you doing now?
I think I got the best job in the world. I do some presentations with my two sons. Jordan, my youngest boy, had a chance to play with LA, and he won a couple of Stanley Cups with them. And
pretty good career.
And Brandon played with the Carolina Hurricanes before his head injury to stop him from playing. So three of us, we have an organization called the Three Nolans. And we go into a lot of remote First Nation communities, and we kind of use hockey as a stick to get the kids there. And once we get them there, then we talk about kids about the importance of education, the importance of healthy lifestyle and dreams and ambitions in life. So it's the best job I ever had.
What about, Ted, when you look now, here we are, like it's 2025, right? And we were talking about when you were 16 and then, 50 years ago, and, just the racism and the stuff you had to endure. And, living on the reserves then, when you look 50 years later in some of these northern reserves, the quality of life hasn't improved that much. How do we help? What has to happen for that to improve?
Oh, so, we go into some of the communities and the water situation in the homes and living conditions is not very good. But like I said, we just need strong leadership and help with along the way. And no one does anything by themselves. And I think with hopefully with the new government in place, they would address some of those issues, because a lot of our communities are living in third world conditions that shouldn't be in a wonderful country that we live in here in Canada. So I think the more we have compassion for one another and we work together and hopefully, because it's an awful feeling when you're growing up and you wake up and the wood stove went out and you wake up cold, or there's not enough food in the refrigerator. It's an awful feeling. So hopefully things get better, and we just gotta keep working at it.
Well, congratulations, Ted. I think it's October 29th. If I'm not mistaken, is when you'll get officially inducted into the Sports Hall of Fame. Is that correct?
Yes, I believe so. And
Okay.
like I said, I'm just really excited, as I mentioned with this one, with the sport. With Darren, Zach being softball, and myself with hockey. We didn't have a whole lot growing up in our communities, but the one thing we had a baseball field and we had a hockey rink. So sports is a wonderful thing.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. You got a few times for your speech. I'm sure it'll be fantastic, and it'll be a huge moment for your kids and yourself and your wife and your entire family. So congratulations, Ted. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
That is Ted Nolan. And I would highly recommend reading Ted's book. It was, and even in his book, he talked about it, that, it's hard. And anybody who's suffered trauma, right? You block out a lot of it. That's just a fact. This is not made up. You can talk to psychologists. And for a lot of people, you block it out simply as a mechanism to help you survive. Which is why, unfortunately, when it comes to victims of sexual abuse, a lot of times you don't get justice because you've blocked some of those things out. You don't want to remember them. You can't remember them. So something that we probably need to be a little bit more aware of, in my opinion. 426, quick break. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley. We'll hear from Chris Knobloch next on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
The month of May brings machines, mud, and for us, many an opportunity. We're GS Construction, and we love the warmer weather because it means we can get to work. But to keep things moving, we need the right people on our team. You built your skills, you know your work matters. Now's the time to bring that experience to a crew that gets it. We're hiring experienced top men and pipe layers. So if you're ready to dig in and be part of a team that has your back, apply now at gsconstruction.ca for this great opportunity.
Canada's best bedroom sale continues at The Brick. Make your bedroom a dream come true with incredible savings, like up to 40% off bedroom furniture and select mattresses, up to $1,500 off sectionals, and up to 25% off dining packages, TV stands, wall units, and electric fireplaces. Plus, buy more, save more. Up to an additional $500 off select brands of major appliances. Some exclusions apply. See thebrick.com for details. The Brick, saving you more.
The dog days of summer means baseball. Every weekend, Sports 1440 carries Toronto Blue Jays ball games. Ben Shulman will have the call. Grab a cold one and tune in this weekend to Blue Jays baseball on Sports 1440.
Reports suggest that Canadian taste buds are bored to tears.
My mouth can't handle another dull drink.
Summertime smoothie experts everywhere are recommending a watermelon wake-up from Booster Juice.
It's so smooth, cool, and refreshing.
And ridiculously delicious. Enjoy the Watermelon Wave and Watermelon Explosion smoothies, available all summer long at a Booster Juice near you. Stay cool, Canada.
Booster Juice, Canadian born, blending since 1999.
The Summer Drive event is on now at Buick. Right now, get 0% financing for up to 60 months on the 2025 Buick Envision. Make your presence known with available 20-inch alloy wheels with pearl nickel finish. Showcase your style with available quilted perforated front leather appointed seats. And radiate confidence on any drive with Buick's suite of standard safety features. Get behind the wheel of your Buick Envision today. Ask your Buick dealer for details.
Kickstands up for a vital cause. The Edmonton Motorcycle Ride for Dad. Hi, it's Todd James, honorary ride captain. Now's the time to register for our big ride this Saturday, starting at Blackjack's Roadhouse in Nisku. We're raising funds and awareness in support of the Prostate Cancer Fight Foundation. Show your support by riding, donating, or volunteering. Advance registration just $40, 50 day of, and free with $100 in collected pledges. Details on the Ride for Dad Edmonton Facebook page.
Sometimes you just want to break from the routine, from the same old, same old. Sometimes you need to go to The Ridge, because The Ridge Social Eatery St. Albert has so much going on. Game day specials, Father's Day specials. The patio is now open because better weather is here. Speaking of, The Ridge also has some highly anticipated summer features coming soon. The same old ain't got nothing on The Ridge. For all the details and more, check out The Ridge socials on Instagram, Facebook, and at theridgestantalbert.com.
Oh, you're gonna take me home tonight. Oh.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. What's the best way to beat the tariffs? Buy Canadian. Cantork's products are not only made in Canada, but right here in Edmonton. Save money. Support Canada at cantork.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Hey, welcome back. Gregor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, Orders Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hope you are having a lovely, lovely Wednesday. It's it's your last stress-free day, at least during the playoffs, because then it's back, baby, and then you got a quick Thursday and then Saturday in Edmonton. So a quick turnaround. No Elks game this week. They are on a bye, and then they will be back. Their season opener, home opener, that is, next Thursday, as they take on Montreal. And it could be Game 6 Tuesday, Elks game next Thursday, and a Game 7, which would happen in Edmonton. The Oilers have not had a Game 7 of a Stanley Cup final in Edmonton. The only time it happened, 1987. The Oilers were victorious against the Philadelphia Flyers. So that's, the other two Game 7s, you know the results, but Game 7 on home ice, pretty good for the Oilers. So we'll see. The Oilers, you know what? They just need a win tomorrow. Get a win tomorrow, and then it's a best of 3. You got 2 out of the 3 games at home. You like your chances a lot better than even today, and definitely a lot better than if you go down 3-1. So it's a pretty pivotal game, no question, for the Edmonton Oilers. And I know you'll all be ready. You're all fired up. The good news is it's going to be much better of a game. I just can't see the Oilers playing as bad or as discombobulated as they were in that game. I don't think they were really ready to roll in that one. And it showed on the ice. Let's get to the oil report, brought to you by Volvo Cars Edmonton. The Discover Day sales event is on now. You can lease or finance a 2025 XC60 plug-in hybrid from 0.49% and save $4,000. Great vehicles, better service, only VolvoCarsEdmonton.com. Hear from the head coach, Chris Knobloch, and setting the tone. The Oilers, they scored first early in Game 1. Now, Florida did take the lead after that, but they had a good start. The other games, they've given up a goal 2 minutes in and 56 seconds in. It's not good enough. So he just talked about maybe trying to set the tone in Game 4.
I think it starts almost immediately after the game. The players are always looking for answers about why things happen the way they did, what adjustments we can make. So I think, whether that's talking to a few individuals, then getting to the whole team, and then leading up to the game, of having a message, and whether that's a big speech or a big tactical strategy. But I think players today are always looking for answers and finding out what the best message is to give to them. So, we're in the Stanley Cup Finals. It's a little bit different than if it was a dog day game in December or January, where it's mid-season and it's tough to get going for when you're on the road. We're in the Stanley Cup Finals, so motivation isn't quite the same level. Obviously, I think the most important thing is having focus and direction for the players to go out and play at their best.
Yeah, well, the orders, at this time of year, there's no excuse not to be ready. You can't expect your coach to motivate you. If you have to have your coach motivating you in Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Final, you got some much bigger problems. What about Sam Bennett? He's been a problem for the Oilers. He's scored in every game. He's got 4 goals in 3 games. He's up to 14 now in the postseason. That's tied for fourth most in the salary cap era. Only Ovechkin, Crosby, and Hyman last year have scored more. What do the Oilers need to do to contain Bennett?
That's a collective thing for our team. I think the more time we spend in the offensive zone, the better. Easier we can break the puck out. We're not in the offensive zone giving up chances off their forecheck. I don't think there's an individual thing where it's one line playing against that line or Sam. Obviously he's a very good player. He's going to get some chances, but they've got a good team, so our focus can't be on solely one player or one line.
Fair, but when one guy's scoring lots, there's got to be a little bit extra focus. I don't expect them to outline the game plan, of course, but I do think that, the orders are, and that's why, honestly, I think McDavid and Dry Settle on separate lines. That means Bennett's probably going out against Dry Settle then, because when you put them together, Barkov and Reinhart get both of them. So to me, that's another reason why you have Dry Settle and McDavid separate, because then that means Bennett's probably playing against him. And, Bennett and Tkachuk, it's not like they're defensive stalwarts, right? It's not like those guys it's not Barkov and Reinhart. So I think that's why the orders playing catch-up has led to lots of different things here. Get the lead, or bare minimum, don't get behind as early as you have. That allows you to get into your rhythm a little bit, because when they played 5-on-5, other than last game, in the first 2 games, the Oilers 5-on-5 for long stretches were the better team. I think they want to get to a game of 5-on-5. Now, what about a goalie change or lineup change? What's the head coach thinking?
We will have likely a lineup change. We haven't confirmed that. We haven't discussed that with our players yet, but there are some things that we've been thinking about, and there might be a lineup change.
Might be. I'm thinking there's going to be, based on that. His thoughts then on John Klingberg and the availability of Troy Stecher.
Troy's been very valuable to our team through the regular season, the playoffs, and I think probably one thing that we as a coaching staff appreciate a lot from Troy is just how dependable he is. No matter if he's playing big minutes regularly, hasn't played for a long period of time, anytime that we've needed him, he's given us really good minutes and usually not making mistakes. And as a defenseman, that's really important. As for John's been great through the playoffs. He's got us through a lot of rounds. We wouldn't have got through those rounds without the contributions that he made. And at this time of the year, you want depth. You know that there's going to be injuries and things that you got to change up to your lineup. But we're blessed with having an abundance of good players. Right now, we're needing it up front more with the injuries to Zach Hyman. Fortunately, right now we've been very fortunate on not having many injuries on the defense. But it's nice to know that we've got Troy being available, and whether he gets in next game or sometime in the series, we know what we're going to get from him.
Interesting. Well, they definitely are banged up. It's not Hyman. I think we all know it's Nugent Hopkins as well. And so now when you listen to that answer, Cons, do you think maybe the change is coming up front?
Kind of sways you a little bit, doesn't it? Could it be Skinner? I'm sure he would be shooting like a rocket ship if he got the opportunity to play once again. We've seen him play more of a physical brand in the playoffs here. Kind of makes you think about that. A little doubt there.
Yeah, it kind of, now maybe that's just a little bit of a misdirection from the head coach. Very, very, very possible. We'll see. But I look at kind of just where the orders are and thinking, hey, they're going to be a lineup change. Is it going to be a forward? I still think it might be Klingberg and Stetcher, unless he knows for certain the injury to Nugent Hopkins is going to keep him out. Right? Then it's kind of a no-brainer. So we'll see where it goes. More from head coach Chris Knobloch and McDavid and Dry Settle. What's he seen in their data? Because the results, when it just comes to goals, and at the end of the day, that's the data that matters the most. Right? Like you can say, yeah, you know what? We're getting chances. That's all good. But ultimately, it's got to turn into goals and assists. And in Florida, for 4 of the 5 games, they've done a pretty good job slowing down the Oilers' top 2. So what is his data telling him, McDavid and Dry Settle, against their best defensive players?
I know in the first 2 games, they were very successful, creating chances. I'm not sure exactly how many minutes. I know the third period of game 2, they had a lot of good looks. Obviously, they broke through and scored, but that was a 6-on-5 goal. I think with what we have right now, to run those 2 together for long periods of time makes it more difficult for our depth on our team. I think at points it's very beneficial to have them playing together, but especially with the absence of Zach Hyman, it makes it a little more difficult putting those 2 together just because of our the depth of our lineup.
I think that's totally valid. So keep them apart, gives you a better chance. It also forces Reinhardt's line to go up against Dry Settle. And what that's going to mean is Evander Kane, right? With Dry Settle, they got to help out. Guys playing on the top line with McDavid. It's not like they can just do everything as a freedom fighter and score on their own. You're going to need everybody helping you out. And does Pickard's play in the last game or how he played in the LA and Vegas series impact the coach's decision on whether or not Pickard will get in the net tomorrow?
Yeah, Calvin was playing really well. But I think we've always felt confident in Calvin. Calvin's always been a guy that's been able to come in and given us good quality starts, whether he's going back-to-back and I shouldn't say he's gone back-to-back very much. Last year, I don't think there was any games back-to-back until the playoffs that he played. This year, he was getting into back-to-backs later in the year when Stu was hurt. And then obviously the 5 or 6 games that he played in the playoffs, he did tremendously well. So it's nice having that confidence in him. But I think we've always had that confidence in him because, some guys need a rhythm flow and you're not sure what you're going to get from him. It's very similar to what we talked about with Stetcher earlier. But it's just nice having that ability, confidence that a guy's ready if we needed him.
Do you think Pickard starts tomorrow, Cons?
I don't think so. I think they're going to go back with Stuart Skinner, knowing that they need to have a better team effort in front of him, and then he can be capable because of what he's done. I said it for the last few weeks leading up to the playoffs. I was more comfortable with Calvin Pickard. I thought he was playing better hockey, but I think they're going to stay with Stu.
Mark in St. Albert says, Gregor, all you got to do is look at Skinner's numbers against the high dangers. Needs to make more saves there. Pickard's better. Well, Pickard is better in that one category. You're right. But then what about the mid to low? Stu hasn't allowed any of those. So not every scoring chance. You're right. He can make the big saves. And here's the thing. If you think you'll go into a game where you're going to give up a lot of more high quality chances, then yeah, you can make the argument that Pickard might be better for you. However, when you look at the overall number, the Oilers won those games because they scored a lot of goals, right? The Oilers haven't scored any goals in Florida. Like, look at the games in Florida. 1 goal in game 7, 1 goal in game 3, no goals in game 1 last year. Only game 5 is the only time they scored any sort of goals. So it's an interesting discussion, and that Pickard's might give you more high danger saves, but it doesn't actually give you more saves overall. So that's the discussion. And I'm sure that's what they have to look at and say, if we play a better defensive game, then Stu gives us a better chance to win. If we're going to be loose, then Pickard gives us a better chance to win. And I think that makes it difficult for the coach to be like, God, if we play loose, we're probably not going to win. So that's why I think it'll be Skinner, but it's a fair question. It's totally a fair question. We'll come back. We got 5 questions, 2-minute morning and more on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Are you looking for safe and professional travel options? Look no further than Silent Rides, one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies. Whether your group is big or small, Silent Rides has you covered. We offer state-of-the-art motor coaches, first-class service, and affordable rates. Get your quote today. For more information, call 1-877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
At Fountain Tire, we're all about one thing, taking care of your vehicle. Oh, and your wallet. I guess that's 2 things. Save up to 20% off select tires until June 14th. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together.
Imagine a family get-together where the smiles are as genuine as the conversations. That's the feeling you get at Nisku Ford, a family-owned dealership where finding a new Ford feels just like catching up with old friends.
Make sure to swing by Nisku Ford in June to take advantage of 0% financing or choose a total savings of up to $18,500 on select 2024 vehicles.
The coffee's on, so drive into Nisku Ford or visit niskuford.ca today. Above expectations.
The wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round, round and round. The wheels on the bus go round and round.
Oh, we're already here. We're here. That was so fast.
The Alberta government is building 90 new schools across the province, giving more communities more schools closer to home. Learn more at alberta.ca/schools now. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Hey, Gary, is that your dad?
No, this is Evan, the new sales rep I hired.
Oh.
First impressions matter, but when hair loss takes over, it can feel like you're not being seen for the maverick you truly are. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we know that hair loss is more than just a cosmetic issue. It's personal. Let's discuss all the cutting-edge options available so you can make a great impression every time.
Book a free consultation today at drvanceelliott.com.
It's the summer big red sale at Canadian Tire. Save up to 50%.
What are you doing?
These are the biggest deals of the season. I'm shouting it from the rooftop.
You have a radio ad. You don't need to be up there.
The summer big red sale is on from June 5th to June 12th. Conditions apply. Details online.
Are you sick of picking the unsightly weeds and grass out of your driveway cracks, walkways, and rock beds? Green Drop has the answer. Clear Path Vegetation Control. Save your back and let Green Drop do the work. Book today.
Canada's lawn expert since 1979. Visit greendrop.com.
Spring has sprung at the Varsity. Fresh new flavors are here just in time for the sunshine. Meet the delicious new spring feature menu with choices like the Spring Fling Burger and the Bourbon Glazed Brisket Sandwich, served with endless forever fries. Try the new Hearty Beef Stew and the Pulled Beef Rib Poutine too. No meal is complete without dessert. Sip on the new Leprechaun or Bailey's milkshakes for some extra goodness. Check out the Varsity at White Mud Crossing. Find the full menu and order online at varsityburgers.ca.
It's happened again, and construction season is in full swing. Job delayed, money lost, and clients disappointed because your rigging failed and it wasn't inspected. Don't let this happen to you. Have your lifting slings, fittings, hoisting tools, and safety harnesses checked with Titan Supply. Titan Supply offers certified on-site and in-house rigging inspections and service, so they can repair it, replace it, and recertify it. Titan Supply in Edmonton, Grand Prairie, Red Deer, and Calgary, and at titansupply.ca. Lift, dig, haul.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Culligan for all your residential water needs. Your local water treatment company, more than just big bottles. Culligan.com.
Tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Whoa, little Aussie. Ooh. It's rare for our show. Kind of like it. Hope you're having a lovely Wednesday afternoon. Of course, the Edmonton Oilers. Well, they had an optional skate today. It wasn't really practice, but it turns out that it wasn't planned. And a few guys went out there, but it was more just a little a loop-de-loop. But yeah, so that happened. Knobloch was there was no player availabilities today, only the coach, because the plan was the players weren't going to skate, and some of them decided, hey, I want to skate. Like they can't really control that. I know there's specs fired up, and I get it. I totally understand why they are, and because that facility, it's not like if you suddenly get a text, you can get there in time to see it. So, but like the footage from there is not great. But so I guess you could have got some of the vids, but. It's funny. There wasn't going to be any media available. That's kind of part of it. The players get days off every now and then, even in the Stanley Cup final. So that was the day off. Now let's get to 5 questions brought to you by The Brick and Canada's best bedroom sale ongoing right now. Spice up your life a little bit. 40% off bedroom furniture, 40% off select mattresses. You also get maybe you want to put a wall unit in there, fireplace, really spice it up. Do it right now at The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, Jason, we touched on it a little bit and just heard from Oilers head coach Chris Knobloch acknowledging one roster change possible for tomorrow. So which final question, final answer, what would you like it to be?
I think I'm going to say it's Stetcher for Klingberg. I just think that's the one that kind of makes the most sense.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you on that one. Interesting to see. Maybe there's someone up front there, but I just want to see Stetcher get back into the lineup and see what he can add to the group. Now, question number 2 for you. We talked about this with the Oilers previously, so I'll ask you with the Panthers. How many of their RFAs next season do you think will return?
Go ahead.
You know what? I think it might be a bit of a fire sale here. I think they might lose some players and have to, fill the shelves elsewhere, which I think will be a tempting proposition for some of those players. But I'm going to say that Marchand is gone. I think that Sam Bennett is going to cash in somewhere. And I'll say they retain Ekblad. So I'll say they keep Ekblad and 3 others to make that a total of 4.
See, I think Ekblad's a guy they're going to lose. I think Bennett ultimately is going to stay there. I think Nosik's going to stay there. Vanasek's the interesting one for me. He just came off a 5-year deal at $3.4 million, and now he's a backup. And honestly, if I'm him, Bobrovsky's in the final year of his deal. Who knows what happens there? So I think they'll keep him. And Marchand's the interesting one to me. Honestly, I think Marchand will depend a lot on if they win or lose. If they win, that's his second copy. You know what? He hasn't won since 2011, early in his career. Might change him to say, oh, you know what? Maybe I want to do something I've never done before. But if they lose, he might be like, damn, this team's close. I'm going to stay here. So Marchand's a little bit of the, and I guess if they lose him, then they probably get Ekblad. But they're not going to get all 3 of Bennett, Ekblad, and Marchand. They just don't have the cap space to do it. Unless like guys take significant, like Ekblad says, oh, I'll play for $4 million, right?
Yeah. Question number 3, the reports out there that Chris Kreider could be going from New York to Anaheim in a trade. If that were to happen, what would you think of that for both sides?
Well, Anaheim is in a situation where I think they need a few more veterans around their team. Chris Kreider's always been a great skater. He can skate, so there's no issue there. I guess it all depends on like what's the return here. I think this is probably maybe a salary dump for the Rangers, and they're looking to free up some stuff. Hey, Chris Kreider, they went public. The Drury wanted him out last year, so I'm not surprised.
Yeah, and I mean, I would like that for the Anaheim Ducks, a guy who can put the puck in the back of the net. I don't think he's the 50-goal scorer we saw one year, but a guy who still has some really good offensive play ahead of him, going to a younger team that could probably use that. I think Quenneville, good coach. So, yeah, I think this would be a good move for the Ducks, taking that one on. Question number 4 for you. We got reports out there that KD is looking to be moved from the Suns. Where would you like to see him end up?
Oh, God. How much does KD have left? That's my honest question. Right? I don't really know. I've seen some of the reports of teams. Like I saw people saying, "Oh, the Knicks for OG Anunoby." I'm like, why would the Knicks make that trade? That trade doesn't make sense to me. You're talking about Minnesota Gobert. I'm like, well, then why would Phoenix make that trade? So, and I heard the Spurs. Like, I think the team that probably makes the most sense might be Houston. They got a boatload of draft picks, so they could do it without. Like, if I'm not giving up too much of my active roster for KD, but I would go to Houston. I could see.
I mean, he's still putting up points, right? Average 26 this year, 27 last year.
Yeah.
So still can do that.
Doesn't defend very well though anymore.
Just if in a certain situation, I'd like to see him. Like you mentioned, the Spurs. I think that would be fun with Fox and Wembanyama. That would be interesting. But I'll say, go back where you had your success. Go back to the Golden State Warriors. Play with Butler.
Yeah, I don't see that.
A final question for you. Tomorrow is National Jerky Day, but I want to ask you today because I think tomorrow will be pretty hockey heavy. The obvious answer here is Wilhauk beef jerky. But when you go on your road trip, what is the must-have snack?
Well, see, you know why I like beef jerky as a road snack? Because it's not messy,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, and it's kind of filling, right? And trust me, the Wilhauk beef jerky is unreal. So, and it's funny enough, when we go on our annual trip to Canmore, we always stop in Leduc at Wilhauk beef jerky. It's unreal. So, my son, my wife, they love it. So I always get a few bags of it because it's a great travel one, but it's also great when you go on hikes, right? Because it's easy, doesn't go bad, anything, you keep it a wrapper. So I'm going to say that, but then I'm going to go also for me, I like red Twizzlers. Again, no mess, super easy.
Yeah, I got to have the Wilhauk at the protein, not the gas station stuff. And then
that's gross.
the problem is I really like those cups of sour candy, but I don't stop. I'll put the whole thing back, and then like my tongue's all scratchy from eating them. So for me, probably go with an iced coffee, and then like you say, like a licorice or something that's not going to scratch up the tongue is probably the way to go for me. And then, it's just random stops, grab a can of pop, whatever it might be on the way. We got our trip to BC coming up in a couple of weeks. I'm looking forward to it, but yeah, Wilhauk will be a stop for sure. And probably going to celebrate Jerky Day tomorrow as well.
I have to say that I don't, pop's a no-go for this guy. I don't really drink pop. Because if you ever hit a bump and it spills, it's just so damn sticky. Like your vehicle's screwed for, a long time. But I'm honestly on a road trip. It's kind of funny. I'm like, I always just have bottled water. It's very boring,
yeah.
But I just have the bottled water. And actually, I don't even bring a bottle. I just bring my own now because I don't like buying the plastic. I'm like, I can fill it up. No problem. It keeps it super cold, which I like. So I find that better. But if I am having a drink, though, it's chocolate milk or the milkshake at Peters in Red Deer.
That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Do you not like the plastic bottles for the microplastics?
Yes.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah. You read up on it and it just gets in you. I'm like, I can't remember I don't buy plastic water bottles anymore for that exact reason. So no, thanks. Not good. Not good for you. Plus, a little bit in the environment, recycling, whatever, but it's more so just for how unhealthy it is for our, for like the micro plastics. It just, it's been proven. It's not great. So I'll try to avoid it. I find I don't drink as much either when I bring my own. So, because if you drink too much, then you're stopping all the time. So that's always the challenge, right? I like to go straight through, man. I'm like, like most dads, I think it's the old adage, make good time. There's something about we made great time. I don't know if I tried to explain to my wife, I said, we're making great time. She kind of looks at me like I got three eyes. Like to me, every time I go on a trip, I want to make good time. I want to get there as quick as I can. It's just, I can't be the only, I know I'm not the only guy. I would think the majority of guys, and not all though, because I have a few buddies that it seems like they're like a sloth. They have no concept of time. They're like, oh, whatever. Take us 4 hours to get to Calgary. I'm like, what? I'm not stopping everywhere hey, let's stop in here. Why? No, you don't need to stop. Like, you don't have a baby bladder. What are we doing here? But there is something about like, are you a guy who cares about time, Cons, or do you like to just and that's okay, but some people like to kind of like smell the roses on the road.
Yeah, I would
You're
say
a smell the roses guy, aren't you?
I like to make a couple stops, especially in the mountains, when you can pull over and check out like, the caves and things of that sort, the paint pots. I like to do that one. Now it's our first road trip with a baby.
Oh, you're going to have to stop. That's
So,
how it goes.
yeah, like I'm kind of just expecting that we're going to pull over every once in a while and then get him out of the car seat, do some things with him, like maybe, I don't know, maybe Canmore if we can, if we're able to. But yeah, I'm definitely not in a rush because whenever we're going to a place, like if it's camping, that's one thing. But if it's a hotel, resort, things of that sort where you can't get in till 4 anyways,
yeah,
I'm in no rush to get there before that.
No, that's fair. I understand that. Yeah. It's kind of odd that I find the checkout times are getting later. I mean, the check-in times. Checkout times aren't getting later, but the check-in times are getting later. What the hell's going on? Let's get to sports 1440 update brought to you by your Alberta GMC dealers. Employee pricing is on now, and you can get some unreal deals. How about $12,000 off a 2025 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab Denali Ultimate? See more at gmccanada.ca.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Cale Makar has won the Norris Trophy as the league's top defenseman for the second time in his career, also winning in 2022. He received 176 first place votes of the 191 cast. 26-year-old from Calgary has been nominated for the Norris 5 times in his first 6 years in the league. In the association tonight, it is Game 3 of the finals. Pacers Thunder from Indianapolis tip off at 6:30. In the majors, the Jays were victorious, sweeping the Cards, winning 5-2 today. Also, the Guardians over the Reds 11-2. Angels knocked off the Athletics 6-5. Dodgers beat the Padres 5-2, and the Mariners fell to the Diamondbacks 5-2. WNBA tonight: Aces, Sparks, Wings, Mercury, and Storm Lynx meeting in the Commissioner's Cup. And baseball tonight: the Riverhawks on the road in Kelowna taking on the Falcons. First pitch set for 7:35. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by former Edmonton owner Marty McSorley, and hear another edition of Cam Tate's 2-Minute Warning. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Is it Riverside Motorsports?
No. It's Riverside Motorsports. Over 55 years in business, and people still get it wrong.
Guess it's time to get it right.
Riverside Motorsports. What you do for fun is our business.
Canada's best bedroom sale continues at The Brick. Make your bedroom a dream come true with incredible savings, like up to 40% off bedroom furniture and select mattresses, up to $1,500 off sectionals, and up to 25% off dining packages, TV stands, wall units, and electric fireplaces. Plus, buy more, save more. Up to an additional $500 off select brands of major appliances. Some exclusions apply. See thebrick.com for details. The Brick, saving you more.
This is a slam dunk. Dive into Edmonton's vibrant basketball scene with exclusive interviews and expert analysis. I'm Paul Sir, and I host The Basketball Show every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports 1440.
Cross Mitsubishi savings are unbeatable, which is why you should always make us your first stop for big savings. During the 2025 model clearout, purchase a 2025 Mitsubishi Outlander starting as low as $29,948 or lease from $115 weekly. 1.49% financing is available. Trade and save $1,000. And don't forget the exceptional 10-year, 160,000-kilometer warranty. See Cross Mitsubishi before you buy anywhere else. In store at 9605 34th Avenue and at crossmitsubishi.ca.
Justin, you're going to be late for school.
I've got a few more minutes.
Now, kiddo.
Mom, I'm bike pooling with Ben today.
Oh, okay. Please wear a helmet.
Okay.
The Alberta government is building 90 new schools across the province, giving more kids the chance to bike to school. Learn more at alberta.ca/schools now. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Hey, Alberta. The all-new Play Alberta app is here. Casino, sports betting, lottery, all in one app, right on your phone. And because it's Play Alberta, you know it's safe, secure, and reliable. Download it now and play over 500 online casino games, live dealer tables, and unique games you'll love. Plus, bet on sports from anywhere in the province. You in? Download Play Alberta now from your phone's app store and deposit using promo code OIL for a $100 casino bonus on the house. That's promo code OIL for a $100 casino bonus.
For a rock-solid start on all your spring and summer projects, Bashaw Concrete Products. From concrete to septic tanks, precast water pads to outhouses, plus aggregates, landscaping supplies, and more. Renos, construction. Start planning right now at BashawConcrete.com or call 780-372-3854. That's 780-372-3854. Family owned and operated, proudly serving Albertans since 1963. Bashaw Concrete Products.
Whether you're at home, in the car, or on the move, you're never more than a tap away from Sports 1440. Download the radio player or iHeart app today so you can get all access anytime to Edmonton's only sports radio station, Sports 1440.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Did you know that Japa offers in-house and on-site service? Rain or shine, Japa's service department is here for you. Get a quote now at japamachinery.com.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Positive Friday. That's coming up in a few days. Jeez. Just read I'm looking at my calendar, looking at Friday because I'm planning out my day because the Oilers are traveling that day. And now I thought it was Friday. God, what a fail that was. Oof. Oh, hey. Maybe it's foreshadowing our fans. It might be an extra special Positive Friday if they win tomorrow night.
Did you see the text we got on Monday? Someone said, "Where's the brass band?"
Yeah, exactly. So, there you go. Everybody's like, hey, they like the music. So I'm totally out of it. But yeah, there you go. Gregor Show is always presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Use the promo code Gregor50. That's Gregor50. You'll get a free $50 play when you sign up. The Oilers, of course, they did have it was not really supposed to be a skate. It turned into a little optional skate today, but it was a day off because the players weren't required to speak to the media, but a few of them just got together and they went for a little skate. I think there was, 16, 17 players out there. And we'll find out. There will be a lineup change there's good chance there'll be a lineup change according to a head coach, Chris Knobloch, for tomorrow, whether that's a forward, whether it's defenseman, maybe a goaltender, but one of them sounds like I'd be surprised if it's a goalie. Defense, if it is, it's going to be Stetcher. And then if it's a forward, it's probably, I'm guessing maybe because there's a potential injury there. So we shall see. Now let's go around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's. You can cool down with $2 sundaes and snack size shakes, or check out McDonald's app and you can get the exclusive only on the app $1 cone deal plus tax right now at McDonald's. As we go around the NHL by a gentleman who played a lot of games in the NHL, and I think gamesmanship was something that he knew quite well, when to do things, when not to do things. Won multiple Stanley Cups in his career, played another Stanley Cup final, played over 1,075 regular season and playoff games. Former Edmonton owner Marty McSorley joins us. Marty, welcome back to the show, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great, guys. Actually, I just flew back from Edmonton last night down to Phoenix. I was up in Slave Lake for a watch party, and I got a chance to be in Rogers for Game 2. So really enjoyed my time there and listening to everybody's opinions.
Now, Marty, I didn't see you standing up. They didn't put you on the screen swirling a towel around in Game 2.
I sneak in. I want to just watch the game. If I can find a quiet place to watch the game, for me, that's best. You want to think it through and watch what's going on and appreciate what some guys are doing, and maybe hope that other guys do a little bit better at certain areas too, right?
Now, Mark, I want to ask you, so last game, I felt the Oilers, they just kind of got out of sorts right from the get-go. They made 3 big mistakes on the opening goal, and it was kind of downhill. There was tons of penalties, lots in the offensive zone, and they got out of sorts. Florida loves to bring you into it. I'm sure you played on teams where you were a guy at times, maybe early in your career, you would like to get guys engaged, in scrums, maybe even later in your career, right? You're like, hey, if Dougie Gilmour is going to go after me, that's a good thing. What do you make of it for the Oilers? I don't think it's the best for their team, even though they got a lot of physical guys. I don't know if they're getting in the scrums with the right guys.
I think you have. I think you have to think of the job that I had in the teams that you're playing on. I think you're going to be surprised by this, but after game 1, I watched game 1 and I said, okay, Florida is in trouble if they try to skate with the Oilers. They're going to try to slow the pace down. They're going to try to muck up the game. They're going to try to make it ugly. They're going to want to play along the boards. They really want to play below the top of the circles in Edmonton zone, because if you're playing there and putting the Oilers defensemen, their nose up against the glass, McDavid and Dry Settle are not burning you through the neutrals and into your own zone. And so what they did is in game 2, they took the crowd out of the game. I'm sitting there in the building going, they're letting Florida dictate the terms of the game. Florida was starting scrums after every whistle.
Yep.
And the Oilers needed to skate away and line up for a face-off. Just if you take a punch in the face, you take a punch in the face. If somebody cross-checks you, you go line up for the face-off. Because the NHL really doesn't want that. They really don't. But the Oilers, if you think of it, when Henrik and Daniel had Burrows on their line,
yeah,
Burrows is going to start trouble every time. Who gets a punch in the face? Henrik and Daniel do. People aren't going after Burrows. They don't care. At the same time, I don't care how mad people get at Tkachuk and Bennett and these guys. They're never going to fight.
Yeah.
Tkachuk skates faster backwards than he does forwards when he's trying to get away from trouble, right? When he's trying to get away from somebody grabbing him. And if anybody does grab him, you're going to have 3 other guys get their hands on that jersey, pulling on him. So the other players are never going to be able to fight. I'm going to give you guys some instances going back a ways. The Edmonton Oilers used to talk about when the Islanders were great, and when the Islanders beat the Oilers before they won their first cup. Davey Hunter used to talk about, he came right over the top and hit Dennis Potvin right over the head with his stick. And he said, I hit him really hard. And he goes, Denny Potvin skated very quickly to his spot, went down on his crouch, and waited for the puck to drop. Blood was coming out from underneath his helmet off the tip of his nose. They marveled at how mentally tough he was, because he was so focused on winning the hockey game, he wasn't going to engage. Remember when Ron Hextall slashed Kent Nielsen? Glenn Saylor said, nobody do anything. Absolutely not. We wanted everybody to know we were there to play, and it kept Philly from making it a backyard wrestling match, which would have been perfect for Philly, not unlike what Florida's doing right now with the Oilers. So I really think the Oilers are getting sucked into everything, and they need to stay out of it, because Florida wants to make this a mucky, awful, grinding, slow game, frustrate the guys that want to get out and skate. Even guys like Kane and those guys, it's not certain guys, it's not certain situations. You have to be mentally tough. I used to say to Gretzky and the guys, I'd look at them and I say, fellas, get me a 3-goal lead. You guys get me a 3-goal lead. And I mean, over the course of the years, I would never let anybody come in and grab me and latch onto me. I would have just slugged them. But when the score's 4-1, 5-1,
yes,
there would have been somebody that would have got a really good one in the kisser, right? But I mean, you mentioned Dougie Gilmour. My hit on Dougie Gilmour was as much to just kick open the hornet's nest. We had a lot of young guys that were really intimidated. They were just, the moment was almost too big for them. And it just kicked open the hornet's nest. And, they talk so much about Wendell might fight and Dougie Gilmour and, obviously Gretz is good. They just left everybody else alone. All our guys could just go out and play that. And and we ended up winning game 2, but you go into game 2, I'm not looking to go fight Wendell. I'm looking to play. I'm going to be hard on him, but play. Line up for the faceoffs and play. Especially when you got the better team, the faster team. When I was in Slave Lake at the watch party for game 3, And they asked, what's going to happen? I said, if the Oilers continue to get into the clutch and grab after the whistle and all the scrums, they'll lose 5-1 or 6-1. And they said, really? I said, absolutely. Because Florida will dictate the whole game. And they're talented enough if they grind out a game. If the Oilers get into a speed game, Florida's going to be in trouble. And so they have to be mentally tough. A cross-check, a punch in the face, big deal. The bigger prize. You know, I hear people talking about, oh, they have to have retribution for Ekholm and all. Listen, Ekholm, he knows the game. He's a great competitor. Just go out and win. He'll be a much happy camper.
Yeah. Marty McSorley joined us. So you know what? The prize is the Stanley Cup. The prize isn't retribution. If you want retribution, you can get it next year in the regular season. Is essentially what you're saying. So now you look at like the Oilers leaders, their coach, you know, Corey Perry, like you don't. It's a fine line, Marty. I'm sure. Like Edmonton's still got to play physical. Like I think even on the ice, the Oilers, the last game, they're trying to skate the puck through the neutral zone too much, and Florida's just bounding it up. They got to make smarter dumps sometimes and start hitting Florida's forwards like they did Vegas. They dumped and chased against Vegas lots and got them off their game, even Dallas. I think they need to do more of that. What do you think?
I think it's the defense have to move their feet. If the defense are moving their feet, the passing lanes open up and guys get the puck in motion. If the defense aren't moving their feet and the guys have to pick it up off the boards, or you're picking it up with no space, then, you know, I mean, if Connor McDavid and Dry Settle are having to dig the puck off the end boards, it's going to be a long night.
Yeah.
You know, you want them to get the puck in motion, and they're going to keep coming back as deep as you need. But the D have to move. Just move. Keep moving. Give it some space for Leon or Connor to come back, get in motion, get the puck. And you talked about physicality. You're absolutely right. But do it with speed. Get on their defense. Finish everybody hard. But do it between the whistles, not after the whistle, right? And when Kane's getting in and hitting guys hard, which he is, but, you know, during the play, he's really valuable. He's doing great. He's getting chances. And that's where I think his strength is. Corey Perry, I love how he's playing because he's just smart enough to know at the right second how to turn off somebody, make a stick available, how to get in there and grind and create some turnovers. And, you know, I think Hyman, when he was playing, his physicality and his forecheck was what, to me, was his best part of his game. So you're not wrong with the physicality, but the speed, if the D are moving their feet, that's when the forwards can get the puck in motion and get their speed game going. And like Bouchard jumping up in the play from behind, other defense being aggressive with the puck and just playing with the freedom that you're not scared to make a mistake in a big moment.
So with that being said, would you change Stetcher for Klingberg, or because Klingberg's a better puck mover, would you keep him in?
I probably. But again, that's a hard call for me to make. They know the personalities. They know if they think that somebody is struggling with a confidence scenario, or maybe the moment's a little bit bigger for them. I got to trust the coaches on that. And to be honest with you, Paul Coffey's played a lot of really big games.
Mm-hmm.
He's you know, Koff knows, and I really think he's got an awful lot. You know, I saw Wallman play against the Kings, and I thought, you know, he really struggled. He's gotten so much better over the course of the playoffs, and that's him and the confidence that the coaches give him. So, you know, I'm really not going to answer on the individual, because the guys behind the bench who are on the ice every day, they know the guys, and that's their gut feeling. And I'm going to trust they make that right decision.
And that's totally valid, right? They're different styles of players for sure. Like Klingberg, when he's on, it definitely, you know, he can move the puck. Now you talk about the defensemen moving their feet for sure. What do you make of the Oilers' wing play on the wall, Marty? Because Florida, we saw it against Carolina. They dominated on the wall. So how do you get, like, other than defense moving their feet, sometimes you're going to have to go up the wall. That's just, you know, it's part of the game. But what do you think Edmonton has to do to be better on the wall?
Well, it's a battle. I mean, it really is a battle. But when the defense are coming in a million miles an hour on you, it makes it really hard. And see, that goes back to the defensemen moving their feet. It doesn't give their defense the opportunity to get up to your grill right away. You know, and if the wingers just come back half a step more. I was fortunate enough that I played both. Actually, I played both defense and forward in Stanley Cup finals.
Mm-hmm.
Right. you come back for a little bit more space, make them come a little bit further, but you just try to put the puck into open space and let guys skate. Put foot races all over the ice. But with the movement of the D, but back and the first pass gives guys the ability to have a little bit more time with something or to be able to make a play. If you got a guy in your grill before the puck ever gets there and he's coming in a million miles an hour, that's really hard on a winger. It really is. What you can't do there is you can't let the puck come loose. You just got to bury it along the boards and put it in your teeth and keep it and battle and hope for the best. But you can't let it get back in the middle of the ice in your own zone, right? But you'd really like to be able to start an offensive play, be able to get it out over the blue line, get it into a hole at least where somebody can skate into it.
Marty McSorley joins us. And Mark, like the series is only 2-1, right? Like the Oilers, they lost the game in overtime. Obviously, game 3 didn't go well for them. This team over the last 2 years is 18-2 in games 4 through 7. Like they have to figure some things out early in series. They did get a little bit better this year against Dallas and Vegas. But, you look at that and Edmonton is the faster team. I think we all would agree with that. And they do have the 2 best players in the series. Florida in 5 games last year and this year, McDavid only has points in 1 of the 5 games on the road. At the end of the day, your best players got to show up at times. That's just the truth. As good as your depth guys will show up, but you need your best players. What do you see from McDavid in Florida? You're going to see Barkov and Reinhart a lot, and the Forsling D pair a lot. What do you think Edmonton can do, or maybe McDavid specifically, to get a little bit more offense on the road in Florida?
Well, what I saw in game 2 when I was sitting in the building there, and then in game 3 is Florida is so focused on McDavid. Like whether it's 2 quick line changes and then 2 lines on him all the time. I was almost thinking when it was 4-1, do you take Leon off his wing and try to make 2 better lines to kind of confuse Florida a little bit and maybe see if you can get some scoring in other places? Earlier in the series, you got some big goals from your third and fourth lines.
Yep.
And you need that. You need Adam Henrique and those guys putting some pucks in the net. And if that happens, it really opens the game up for Connor. Because Florida, if the Oilers get a lead, Florida can't just check Connor.
Right.
So that would, if the third and the fourth line, and here's another thing when I talk about, it's kind of like, we called it old school analytics. I felt that if I ended my shift in the other team's end, Wayne Gretzky and Mark Messier are starting their shift in the other team's end.
Mm-hmm.
So if Slants put me out in a face-off in our zone, and 20 seconds later there's a face-off in the other team's zone, and he pulls us off, I'm okay with that because he's going to keep putting us out there to get positive ice position. And if your third and fourth line are doing that all night, Connor and Leon are starting on the offense. But if they're taking face-offs in their own zone, you're making it really, really hard on them. And so your third and fourth lines really are key for getting momentum, getting ice position. And it makes it so much easier for your goaltender and your defenseman. Ron Hextall, I was sitting down talking with him about the theory of the game and different things. And he talked about the longer the puck's in your own zone, it's really hard on a goaltender. If you get time in the other team's end, it just really helps the goaltender over the course of the game. And it made a lot of sense.
Oh, yeah, right. Like he gets to probably stand up. You're resting. You're not as focused. So I want to ask you one last one, Marty. Having been in all the Stanley Cup games that you played and obviously in multiple Stanley Cup finals, just, the importance of that playing with a lead and how much maybe not only your style, but just mentally, because the Oilers have only led for 27 minutes in this series. They led for 75% of the series against the Stars and a vast majority of the series against Vegas, right? But they've been playing catch up almost like the last game. It was the entire game. And in game 2, it was significant amounts. Like how much different do you feel in a game when you're leading or trailing? And how much does that mentally impact you as a player?
See, I'm fortunate enough. When we had the old Oilers, Mess would look around the locker room after the second period and go, "Hey, it's time." Or he'd look over at Phil Anderson and go, "Andy, wake up." And it would be, right? And we knew it was time. And the horses went out and started to run. And the pace of the game just really stepped up. The thing is, you're playing a really good Florida team. And it matters more in this situation that if you get a lead against Florida, they're not going to be able to play the way that they want to. They're not going to be able to just slow the game down and make it boring. They're going to have to play a little more wide open game. So you're absolutely right. Get a lead is really important in this series. But what I think even more important is after last game and the score, they need a really good first period, and the power play, because Florida, if the power play is working, Florida's not nearly as chippy, because in game 2, what they had 4 penalties, 2 5-on-3s in the last 10 minutes of the first period and got nothing. They could have got up 4-2. Instead, by the time the power plays were done, it was 3-3. So if the power play is going, Florida can't be as chippy. And if you get off to a good start, Florida can't play the way they want. First period, really key against a Florida team that wants to slow the game down.
Marty, great stuff, my man. We really appreciate it. And would you come back for Game 7?
Would I come up for Game 7?
Yeah.
Certainly.
Yeah. Wow.
Certainly. I love, like I said, I love it. You'd appreciate the game so much more. And I was even standing up and videotaping, the anthems and different things for my kids to kind of see. And, Gene Principe was so wonderful that the last day of Rexall, the last game, I brought 2 of my kids up and we all put skates on and I went for a skate at Rexall. And, looked up at the banners that were hanging. They're getting ready to close the building down. And, where my mom and dad sat in the Stanley Cup finals. And, when you see the building alive like that, to show my kids, it was really special. And, Game 7 Stanley Cup finals, I'm a huge hockey fan. I'm a huge fan of so many of the Oilers players right now. I think that the coaching staff's done a wonderful job since they stepped in halfway through last year. And you really wish them well.
Well, Marty, if I'm not mistaken, you were on the ice in the only Game 7 of a Stanley Cup final in Edmonton in 1987 when the Oilers defeated the Philadelphia Flyers.
You want to hear a great story? So I'm on the bench and you're so focused. You talk about focus. And I come off after a shift and Lyle Kulczycki, Sparky, the trainer, says to me, "Here, give me your helmet, give me your gloves." And I'm like, "What are you talking about? Get away from me." And he says, "No, give me your helmet, give me your gloves." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He points up to the clock and there was like 18 seconds left in the game. We were winning 3-1. And I'm like, "Oh my God.
We're going to win."
It was almost surreal because you're so focused. You're so in the moment, So that's, special. It's a special, special time of Game 7. So if there's Game 7 up there, absolutely I'll be there.
Awesome stuff, Marty. We really appreciate it. Have a great day. Enjoy the games.
Thanks.
That's Marty McSorley, a 2-time Stanley Cup champion. Of course, played another Cup final with the Los Angeles Kings. Had himself a hell of a career. When you can, like, Marty McSorley came up to Edmonton, right? He was in Pittsburgh, and he's talked about it, how it wasn't really a great time in his career there. Some old guys weren't very friendly. Gets to Edmonton, and it's just like a breath of fresh air. They respected his toughness. He's fighting all the time. But Glenn said, "There's like, you're going to learn to be more of a player." And so, he worked, and eventually, like, Marty McSorley played big minutes as a defenseman on teams, right, in LA, and like not just like third pair. He was a top 4 guy for a long time in his career. It started out, was a forward, went to defense, and went back and had a really successful career, playing over 1,075 games between the regular season and the postseason. Some good insight about the Oilers and what they need to do. And we talked about it yesterday. Like, the Oilers, they got to play their game, and Florida sucked them in. You all saw it. Like, Edmonton, you don't have to be like, "You know what? You're not going to bully me." Because the truth of the matter is, like, can you really bully guys in today's game? I don't think you can, but you can get guys off their game. And if all of a sudden you're scrumming all the time, because Marchand, we said that yesterday, Marchand and Tkachuk, they live for that. You know what? Like, that's just, that's their euphoria for them. "Oh, look at these guys. We're getting them in scrums." And, Kane every time is trying. Now, Kane's kind of used to it, so maybe he's a different example. But even then, when he's going out of his way to get Tkachuk, getting you off your game. And the Oilers are the faster team. So get back to skating, and the power play's got to do their job. You score and get a lead. We saw what happened against Dallas. The Oilers had a lead. Dallas really never had an answer. Dallas led for a grand total of 14 minutes in the entire series. Get a lead. You can play your game. And when the Oilers dictate their game, I don't think there's anybody who can keep up with them. Quick break. We'll come back. Get the 2-minute warning. We'll hear more from Knobloch on the Jason Gregor Show. Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
New crust alert at Papa John's. Your favorite cheese meets your favorite pizza in the new cheddar crust pizza for only $17.99. Papa John's pizza makers created the perfect addition to their crust by melting garlic and herb seasoned cheddar cheese right on top of their fresh original dough that's made with 6 simple ingredients. Try a one-topping cheddar crust pizza today for only $17.99. You better hurry though, because it's only for a limited time. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, proudly locally owned and operated.
I'm Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. And I'm Zach Hyman. And when we're not making juicy, sweet passes or having my goals disallowed, we're working for Legacy Heating and Cooling. You know, guys used to call me a plumber, and now they call you an AC repairman. Nice.
Hey, guys, you're not here to fix air conditioners. You're here to sing the jingle.
Oh.
Well.
Okay. Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
No payments and no interest for 1 year from qualified installers. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
We've finished construction of our gamma radiation containment facility. Is it up to code? Is it going to be safe?
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Testing team reporting. We test your commercial operations using tools like infrared to ensure safe operation. Trust us to prevent potential calamity before it strikes.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Reports suggest the Canadian taste buds are bored to tears.
My mouth can't handle another dull drink.
Summertime smoothie experts everywhere are recommending a watermelon wake-up from Booster Juice.
It's so smooth, cool, and refreshing.
And ridiculously delicious. Enjoy the Watermelon Wave and Watermelon Explosion smoothies, available all summer long at a Booster Juice near you. Stay cool, Canada.
Booster Juice, Canadian-born, blending since 1999.
When they sing Sherwood Buy at Sherwood Honda, just who's doing the buying in that ditty? Hopefully you Sherwood buy when you want a reliable vehicle, but Sherwood Honda is buying too. All makes, all models. Sherwood Honda welcomes trade-ins, but if you're just selling at the moment, they might buy it. Consignment sure would be an option too. Sherwood Honda buys good vehicles, so Sherwood Honda sells good vehicles. And they put it in a song, so you sure would know they mean it.
Sometimes you just want a break from the routine, from the same old, same old. Sometimes you need to go to the Ridge, because the Ridge Social Eatery St. Albert has so much going on. Game day specials, Father's Day specials. The patio is now open because better weather is here. Speaking of, the Ridge also has some highly anticipated summer features coming soon. The same old ain't got nothing on the Ridge. For all the details and more, check out the Ridge socials on Instagram, Facebook, and at theridgesaintalbert.com.
I'm Rick Showers from No Bull RV, and I know there's no such thing as a free lunch, but when you bring your used RV to No Bull, I'll give you a free roof assessment. Now, what do I mean by that? It means we'll climb up and take a real close look at all the joints and connections and seals on your roof, and give you a written report on what's going on up there.
How often do people get up on the roof of their RV, Rick?
Not often enough, Bob. You should do this twice a year.
Would I know what to look for if I did it myself?
Maybe. Depends on how experienced you are in RV maintenance. But remember, there's no free lunch. There's a 1 out of 10 chance I'm going to sell you something. But what I want to sell you is a small repair. The kind we catch before there's a lot of water damage, rather than the kind that costs you thousands once the leak is visible from the inside. And 9 times out of 10, the assessment is really free. And it's also free to know you'll be safe and dry this camping season.
And that's No Bull. NoBullRV.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. What's the best way to beat the tariffs? Buy Canadian. Cantork's products are not only made in Canada, but right here in Edmonton. Save money, support Canada at cantork.com.
Hat-tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
5:33. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Sports 1440, Orders Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hope you're having a lovely day. Texts are flying in, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey, fellas, get Marty on again. It was awesome. Guys, this interview's pumping me up already. Hopefully the boys are listening to what he has to say. That one comes in from Dan. Hey, guys, the Rangers did that to Crosby and the Pens and ended up blowing up a 3-1 series lead. Mario sat sit down after the season. The rest of his career would just skate away and play his game. From El Nate. Hey, guys, as someone who just dumped an ice cream on himself driving home from Costco, I agree with Gregor. Beef jerky would have been a much better choice from AK. Ooh, yeah. You know what? It's funny because I did spill in my car once and it took me forever to clean it. And that's why I vowed I rarely will eat in my car. I'm not going to say never. That would be a lie. But I try to avoid. And if I do, I'll eat stuff like carrot sticks, something that's not going to be messy. Not going to be able to mess around. You got your water bottle. You can sip it unless you're a buffoon. It's not going to spill all over the place. But yeah, like an ice cream, no. And the other thing is I don't want to eat ice cream. I want to enjoy it. I kind of want to be in the moment when I have ice cream. Like I just found a nice outdoor, like one of those, those pop-up hard ice cream places now that are popping up all over the place, Con. I just noticed one the other day when I was biking, and I'm like, ooh. I stopped in and I looked at what they had, and guess what? They have the greatest ice cream ever, Tiger. So that'll be a new stop for me. Can't wait. So there you go. That'll be good. Hey, guys, get me a 3-point lead, boys. McSorley was great. Yeah, it's true. Give me a 3-goal lead, and then we'll get some retribution. And that's true, right? If you really want to get your revenge, get a lead. Then because if you get a lead, that's when the Panthers will come at you. So if you really want to do it, and you got guys, Chris Knobloch said, we got some guys who want to drop the mitts. Well, then great. Get a 3-goal lead and then say, hey, Tkachuk, you want to do something? Bennett, here we go. Then you'll see if they really want to do it. That would be a better strategy. No question about it. So let's get to the 2-minute warning. Brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, home of the no payments, no interest for 1 full year on your AC unit. Stay cool all summer long at legacyheating.ca. Cam Tate, longtime journalist in town. Of course, Cam, born with cerebral palsy, he's in a wheelchair, and with his disability, he was unable to be on the radio. He always wanted to be until now. Through the wonders of technology, Cam's words come to life in the 2-minute warning.
It was a day, I think in May 1985. I was in my 3rd month on the news staff of the Edmonton Journal. I was having a good run. 2 road trips stateside, a few front-page hits, a few stories. Well, they made the national wire. Thought I was doing okay. So I wheel into the Journal newsroom, all ready for my 10 to 6 shift. Before I parked myself, I wheeled over to my mailbox, where reporters had their day's assignment written on scrap paper from the city desk. There was only one piece of paper that morning, not an assignment, but a wake-up. It was a sheet. If you're old enough, you'll remember the holes on each side of the paper. I unfolded. There were more red felt notes and comments. It was my story. Raw copy. That was in the paper that day. It wasn't very good. The red felt markers painted a poor effort on my part. Spelling mistakes, typos, grammar errors, bad story structure. More importantly, though, the red felt marks of truth came from George Ward, the gentleman who brought me into the Journal fold. Swallowed, hard, went back to my desk. Ashamed of myself. The thought of faking a terrible, all-of-a-sudden migraine headache, even though I never got migraines, and go home and find a straw and bottle of scotch. But no, I thought, that would be wheeling away from an issue. An issue I had to deal with, and if, that's the key to this point of this broadcasting experience. If I wanted to be better. A few weeks later, I was back on the front page. My point is this, and it's simple. The Florida Panthers did the Edmonton Oilers a favor by beating them. Monday night, 6-1. It was what they needed. We all know how this Oiler team likes to push the little rock up a hill, and they will do it again, which makes me wonder. Has single malt scotch ever been drunk from the Stanley Cup? 2-minute warning. Cam Tate. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Gregor Show. Sports 1440.
It's a good one, Tater, because it's true, right? Like the Oilers, hey, they got socked in the mouth last game. I don't, seeing what we've seen from this team, I read a lot of people saying, the Oilers are done. And that's okay. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. And they could be right. Like maybe the Oilers just can't match Florida. I don't think that's the case. I think Edmonton has more skill, but do they have the will to play the game the right way, to play the game they want? And when Florida inevitably goes on a run, because it's going to happen, even when the Oilers played well in game one, there were times when, guess what? Florida was the better team. So what Edmonton has to happen is they got to limit those to not a full period. That to me that has to be priority number one. They've got to be more engaged from the get-go. And when I say engaged, it's not like, we're going to scrum. No, it's like we're going to skate and we're going to pass on our defensemen are going to move their feet and we are going to be the quicker team. It has to happen. If they want to win, it's not really even negotiable, right? It has to happen. And I think Edmonton's capable of doing it. But now we'll see. Like that's what's great about you. You get to see yourself as a player and how you respond when things don't go your way, right? It's what every parent teaches their kids. It's not what happens when you lose. It's what happens the next days and how you handle the loss, how you react to the loss. Do you let it get you down? Do you let it say, okay, you know what? Geez, not because it's easy to quit. That's the one thing I said. And it's funny. I ran into a few of the kids I coach this year. If there's one thing they remember, it's like, what's the easiest thing to do in sports? Anybody can do it. Any one of you can do it. I can do it. You can quit. It takes no skill. And you can quit. And sadly, and when we say quit, it's not like you just up and stop, but there's a certain battle on the ice and the other guy, you're not matching their will in that moment. And that's what the Oilers are going to have to do tomorrow night. And that's what makes the playoffs so great. That's what makes the NHL playoffs so great. You literally have to do that how many times in a playoff series to win, right? Over and over again. You get up 2-0, the series isn't over. Hell, you're only halfway there. So the Oilers, how do they respond? Historically, this group has shown they're a pretty good team. Heck, even last year, they got down 3-0. They didn't quit. They came all the way back to make it 3-3. Now, they didn't win game 7, but they made it win. So that's why, you're only down. All you got to do is win 1. You don't got to win 3 in a row. You win 1. Now you're even. Then you got to win 2 out of the next 3. You could win 5, lose 6, win 7. So it's not, at some point, they have to win 2 in a row, right? We know that, right? At some point, they have to win 2 in a row if they want to win the series. So whether that's going to be games 4 and 5, whether it's going to be game 5 and 6, whether it's going to be game 6 and 7, they got to win 2 in a row at some point. So we'll see how they respond. And, it's a good little message from Tater. I like it. We'll take our final break. Come back. We'll hear a little bit more from Chris Knobloch. He's got a few other thoughts. If you missed it, it sounds like there'll be a lineup change. You didn't want to say who. Obviously, with the injuries they have up front, McDavid and Dry Settle are going to stay in their own separate lines. We know that. So I guess that opens the door a little bit. Maybe Nugent Hopkins isn't ready. We'll see. Or is it going to be Klingberg out, Stetcher in? Or is it going to be the goaltender? We'll find out. I don't think it's a goalie. I could be wrong. I don't think it's a goalie. But we'll discuss when we return to the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Summit Restaurant, located in the heart of the Silent Ice Center and just minutes from South Edmonton Common. Summit is your destination for exceptional house-made pizza, delicious entrees, and expertly crafted cocktails. Experience the perfect blend of flavor and ambiance in a modern setting. Join us for a straightforward yet elevated dining experience where our commitment to quality speaks to every bite and sip. Make Summit Restaurant your next night on the town.
New crust alert at Papa John's. Your favorite cheese meets your favorite pizza in the new cheddar crust pizza for only $17.99. Papa John's pizza makers created the perfect addition to their crust by melting garlic and herb seasoned cheddar cheese right on top of their fresh original dough that's made with 6 simple ingredients. Try a one-topping cheddar crust pizza today for only $17.99. You better hurry though, because it's only for a limited time. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, proudly locally owned and operated.
At Fitted Golf, we know that you continue to believe.
It's not my clubs, really. It's my swing.
Except it's already June and you're still not playing the game you want because you continue to insist it's not your clubs. Except it really is your clubs. And we prove it every day. Fitted Golf customers continue to be amazed at how good they actually are when they use the right clubs for their swing. Why would you play the game you love but not love the way you play it? From beginners to pros, Fitted Golf makes all the difference. Visit fittedgolf.ca.
Canada's best bedroom sale continues at The Brick. Make your bedroom a dream come true with incredible savings, like up to 40% off bedroom furniture and select mattresses, up to $1,500 off sectionals, and up to 25% off dining packages, TV stands, wall units, and electric fireplaces. Plus, buy more, save more. Up to an additional $500 off select brands of major appliances. Some exclusions apply. See thebrick.com for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Legacy Heating and Cooling jingle auditions take one for Gene Principe. Hey, thanks for being on time.
I'm always punctual. Now, how about some cool beats while I drop the heat?
Ready when you are.
Tall legacy, tall legacy.
Nice.
Boom! I'm a musical genius.
Legacy's going to love this for AC season.
What's not to love with no interest and no Principe payments for 1 year?
Are you always like this?
Yep. Unlike Legacy, I never know when to cool it.
Legacy Heating and Cooling.
My utility bills are going through the roof. How can I take advantage of the sun and put my lazy roof to work?
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Energy team reporting. When you're ready to make your home or business more efficient, Action Electrical has the power to install solar panel systems and EV chargers.
Facing an electrical menace? Call on the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta with supercharged skills and strong family values. ActionElectrical.net.
The summer drive event is on now at Buick. Right now, get 0% financing for up to 60 months on the 2025 Buick Envision. Make your presence known with available 20-inch alloy wheels with pearl nickel finish. Showcase your style with available quilted perforated front leather appointed seats. And radiate confidence on any drive with Buick's suite of standard safety features. Get behind the wheel of your Buick Envision today. Ask your Buick dealer for details.
It's the summer big red sale at Canadian Tire. Save up to 50%.
What are you doing?
These are the biggest deals of the season. I'm shouting it from the rooftop.
You have a radio ad. You don't need to be up there.
The summer big red sale is on from June 5th to June 12th. Conditions apply. Details online.
Jumpstart your summer with Wendy's delicious drinks. Enjoy a small iced coffee, frosty chino, or frosty fizz for only $1.99. But hurry, get your $1.99 small drink at participating Wendy's. Only available until June 29th. Taxes extra.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Action Electrical. They're the most diversified electrical contractor in Alberta with 4 divisions and project service tag and solar for commercial or residential. Contact them today at actionelectrical.net.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
It is the final countdown. There is NBA action tonight, of course. Game 3 in the championship. Pacers and the Thunder, just like the Oilers were, and the Florida Panthers, tied 1 apiece. Now they move to Indianapolis. And we'll see if the Pacers, can they handle the Thunder? I don't think the Pacers have played great yet, but they did manage to win a game. Halliburton's a little bit banged up. I think guys are banged up in the NBA just like they are in the NHL at this time. I just don't think they got they got a deep team, but they don't have the top end guy to match Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. And I just think the Thunder are now going to take over this series. Cons, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I will say this. I think when the Thunder play as good as they can play, the Pacers don't have a chance. So it's kind of in their court. Like, if they play their game, they'll get it done. And it wouldn't surprise me to see them win 3 straight. The Pacers are feisty. I mean, they're not going to make it easy, obviously. And they've got some players who can hit the big shot when it counts. And they're never really out of the game. But for this one, I just think it's a Thunder handling their business if they do that. They'll be hoisting the LOB shortly versus longer because, yeah, they're a really good team. And Gregor, we talked about, like, maybe not the worst Thunder team we'll see in the next few years, but they've got so many draft picks coming up in the next little while here. Like, it's actually ridiculous.
They should be a good. Now they're obviously going to be some late picks, but they got some other guys' picks. They're going to be competitive for a while. There's no doubt in my mind about that. And I really think their success might hopefully put an end to the trying to build the super teams. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but that era tried. And I wonder if maybe some teams are like, you know what? You got to be smart. Now, there wasn't all draft. Like, their best player was acquired in a trade. So it doesn't all have to be draft picks. It's like Florida. Florida's a really good team. They got 3 draft picks on their roster. So there's different ways to do it, right? Making astute trades, right? You get Gilgeous-Alexander. Now, I don't know at the time of the trade if everybody thought the guy would end up being the MVP and have one of the greatest seasons ever. And their team, like, I don't know if that's what they like. Obviously, some things have gone their way for them to turn out this good, but it's hard to argue with how they build their team. I don't think anybody can question that. It's very good. So,
I mean, if you can land LeBron James, Chris Bosh in free agency, I'd say you do it when they're in their prime. But yeah, I think cool to see how the Thunder have done this one.
Hey guys, McDavid's only been on the ice for 1 goal, 4 without Dry Settle. That was the Ekholm goal. Wasn't Dry Settle on the ice for that Ekholm goal? I think he might have been. Because it went through Kane. 5-on-5. They haven't now it's only 3 games, but Florida has done a pretty decent job so far in the series, right? Of limiting McDavid. Now, can they continue to do it? That's a great question. I think it'll start with the fact that if they get the lead more, that's going to help them. McDavid has been on the ice for 2 goals for 5-on-5 in the series, which it's not terrible, but it's you'd like it to be a little bit more because he's been on for 2-4, but 4 against. So it's not a great combination when your best guy's getting outscored 5-on-5. Now, I'd have to go back and see how many of those was it all like now because there was only one in the blowout. So, it was 3-2 in the first 2 games for him. So I think he misses Hyman. I love Corey Perry. I really do. But I do wonder at times if his lack of speed is a little bit, although, speed Schmied sometimes, I'm trying to think of plays where Corey Perry has really, stopped the flow. I think if you're going to forecheck a little bit more at times with McDavid, then it would help to have a speedier winger. Right? I would mix in Connor Brown or Kapanen a few shifts with McDavid. Because people talk about, well, you bring in Skinner. Yeah, but if you play Skinner, you can't play Skinner and Perry with McDavid. It's impossible. You can't do it. That would be a disaster. So, right, like you're not going to play with your 2 slowest wingers. That doesn't make any sense. So I look at, Connor Brown, Kapanen a few shifts up there with McDavid. Like, heck, I would put Janmark on a left wing for a shift or 2 because I think at times I wouldn't mind seeing Edmonton, not all the time because they're a puck possession team, but make some smart dumps and chases, especially when you have McDavid going on the far wing and you're the defenseman coming up the right side. McDavid's on the left wall. Just flip it in. He'll get in there, right? And it's not. I don't care if he body checks the guy, but he'll pressure them, and that would be, usually if McDavid's pressuring you, guys are going to get a little panicky. That could help, no question in my mind. So 5-on-5 overall, the orders there's very few elements of their game right now that you would be super excited with. So 5-on-5 production, yeah, 100%. I think it's fair to say it's got to improve, and it's got to improve everywhere. You can't just be your depth guys. Like it's really got to improve from your best guys. Your best guys can't be getting outscored 5-on-5 if you want to win. That's just I don't think that's realistic. So if that's going to happen, you're going to have a hard time winning. That's how I would view it. So, no, it's early. It's not early, but, we're kind of at the midway point potentially of a long series. And this is where the Oilers have picked it up over the last 2 years. They're going to have to do it again. Now, it's going to be a little bit harder. I think Florida's a better team than some of the other teams that they had to, quote, pick up the pace against. So, but they have no choice. They got to play better. Because if they don't, they'll be down 3-1. It's a crucial game tomorrow. I can't wait. I cannot wait. And luckily, got a little NBA. Looking forward to the Thunder tonight. Hopefully getting another win for OKC. Let's get to the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense. Go to GameSense.ab.ca and learn more. Good night.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Norris Trophy is the league's top defenseman, receiving 176 of 191 first place votes. The 26-year-old from Calgary has been nominated for the Norris 5 times in his first 6 years in the league. In the association tonight, it is Game 3. Thunder taking on the Pacers out in Indianapolis. This one gets going at 6:30. Today in the majors, the Jays complete the sweep over the Cards with a 5-2 win. We also see the Diamondbacks beating the Mariners by that same score. Angels over the Athletics 6-5. And the Padres falling at home to the Dodgers 5-2. Right now, Mets lead the Nationals 3-0 in the third. Also in the third, Red Sox have a 2-1 lead over the Rays. And in the sixth, Orioles up on the Tigers by a score of 2-0. In the WNBA tonight, Commissioner's Cup rolls on. 3 games, all getting going at 8. You got the Aces and Sparks, Wings, Mercury, and the Storm taking on the Lynx, and the Riverhawks back in action tonight on the road out in Kelowna, taking on the Falcons. First pitch in this one set for 7:35. That'll do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Coming up next, we've got Fox Sports Radio all night long. Live local coverage resumes tomorrow, game day on the Kevin Carrier Show at 7 a.m. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.